so surprised. I'm so surprised. Y'all been in church 2 hours and you're expecting to see heaven out here, and there ain't no heaven. You're still right here hear the black man's truth. No, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. You've been down on your knees the last 2 hours, haven't you? Begging some God to help you in the hereafter. But the hereafter is right now, brother. The hereafter is here and now.
We a series of amendments and leather African pendants, handguns and incense. Liberation's expensive. Earned by studying love, books and bloods, the crooks and thugs, the capitalist loves. They the enemies of the people because the words written replace where the innocence was. Searching for knowledge to escape what ignorance does. So we earn liberation by rejecting what was.
You got to earn your liberation.
Y'all getting rusty, man. He getting rusty.
Sorry. I'm trying to, I need time. It's a new day.
Man, been sitting home playing video games all day.
I have been, but I hope my wife don't watch this shit, man. She don't need help.
Yo, salute to
about video games.
First of all, salute to Skip.
Skip Raw.
It is outrageous that we have a legit Mount Rushmore top 5 MC doing the intro for the show. So
which one of y'all cut that check?
I did.
It must come from you. Oh, I was gonna say you're the only one making money out here. So it must
He was in Atlanta.
I said, y'all gonna have Skip hunting us down in the street. Ain't none of y'all paid that balance.
HBCU money, man.
Skip gonna be looking for I'm way up north and it's cold. He won't come up here. He gonna look for y'all. Get you first.
You're gonna start with him.
Well,
because you in his area. Cut that. You know how these rappers are about their paper, their pockets.
Man, listen. I was stuck in a parking lot for almost an hour because I was talking to Skip about something that I never knew, and I'm gonna mispronounce the word. I don't remember the word, but in the music industry, you know, you got your samples, and then is it extrapolate or something like that, where you own. So you know, if I said "Dead in the Middle of Little Italy," and I say that in one song, but you do a whole nother song, but you use that verse, "Dead in the Middle Italy," but you do something else, like Jay-Z did the Biggie every time.
Interpolate is what Rob and Drake said. Yeah, but first of all, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. My bad. Go ahead.
I ain't never really thought about like the industry has, like, you can own the words. So if you just chilling in the hood, you saying it, like somebody hear you say it, like, oh, he used your words, and then if they got money, you can sue them, obviously.
Oh, I know what that is. You know the thong song?
Yeah.
Ricky Martin got the royalties off the thong song because the dude said, she was living La Vida Loca.
La Vida Loca,
yeah.
And you can't say in a song, she was living La Vida Loca. Right. You can't even say La Vida Loca in a song because...
But we need to clear something. We do need to be clear, though, that, and I'm the first one to be critical of Jay-Z, but that is the worst criticism of Jay-Z, that he was always doing Biggie verses. They were clear shout outs to somebody he was cool with. He did not need Biggie's rhymes to produce all the verses that he produced. So that's just I've always been really irritated by that particular criticism. They were boys. They rhymed together. They had plans to do a label together at one point. So like this whole thing of and you could argue, if you go back and listen to Brooklyn's Finest, Biggie doesn't have the best verses on that.
Don't. God damn it, you went too far. I was with you. I was riding, and I knew you was gonna kick me off the bike. What? He said
Biggie does not outrhyme Jay-Z on Brooklyn's.
Shoot your daughter in the calf muscle.
Yeah. Like short sleeves, I bear arms.
You can't even be too sure if Biggie didn't ghostwrite for it. Like, man, I don't know. You just can't.
That's crazy. That Biggie ghostwritten.
Thank you, Geechee. Well, you said something crazy, Jared. So Geechee countered with crazy. That balances things out because come on now, Brooklyn's finest. Biggie killed that.
So listen,
he killed it.
Also, there's a recent interview on one of, Jay-Z is making his comeback into the world run, right? He done talked to the people about the capitalists, but now he's like sounding like a philosopher. He said like Biggie had like he does things musically nobody else can do it, and he like sounds like a musician. Jesus, glorious beat, and he's like, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about, bro? Like, well, maybe. He is musical genius, maybe, but that interview pissed me off because I'm like, they just trying to make this something.
Yeah, I've been critical of that interview and of Jay-Z. This is not a defense of his politics. I see somebody said he's in the FP. I'm not defending him. This is strictly about his on Brooklyn's finest, and I think
Biggie Smalls,
but listen real quick,
was and still is the illest. That's just it.
No, I'm not even. I didn't even say Jay-Z was better than Biggie. I just said okay, whatever. But that's fine. We're already. So first 5 minutes, I'm already getting misrepresented. But that's fine. Welcome back and I want to salute quickly again, Skip again, not only for the verse on the intro, but he is responsible as far as I'm aware of us getting back together here. And I thought he was going to be joining us. Again, I'm not Jay's. Okay, Jay's. All right. But as my homegirl said, who is Biggie? While everybody's out here defending Biggie, who is Biggie talking about when he's saying "kick in the door, waving the 4-4"? All you heard was "Papa, don't hit me no more." Who's like while everybody's
was that
Faith, Kim, Charlie Baltimore? Pick one of his light skin.
Hey, listen, it was the 90s. It was the 90s. We were all boom bye. It was the 90s. We get a pass. We didn't know no better.
Hey, look, man.
But again, all right, yeah, go ahead.
We gotta welcome people back to
we do. Well, I'm gonna, but real quick, I got to do one more thing before I forget because I saw him yesterday. This is why I got the background today. Salute to Brother Nati from Everyone's Place on North Avenue in Baltimore, the best bookstore I've ever been to. It changed my life. Spent so many days and hours in that joint. Ran into him yesterday because I was at the preview screening of a forthcoming documentary called "Can We Kick It?" about race and soccer or football. And Nati was there, and so yeah, it was more to come on that documentary though. By the way, is
that's gonna be interesting. I don't even watch football, but I watch that. Are y'all soccer fans? Y'all still throwing bananas on the field and all that crazy shit?
That was one game, Dion. One game.
I am a soccer fan,
right?
But I am boycotting the World Cup though.
And Black Cats, they be doing shit in modern soccer games like they used to do to like Jackie Wilson, but Jackie Robinson. Like they be doing that shit like mad racist, and especially like in Europe and even North Africa, the Arab. Y'all soccer fans, man. Y'all time somebody called y'all out,
but. When I was in Costa Rica, I lived in front of the soccer stadium, and the U20 World Cup or whatever was there. And I had to see Nigeria and China and Japan and all of them play. And watching soccer live is, I know they be doing some wild shit, but you gonna go watch the game. I'm gonna watch it.
I just don't watch ball chasing. I'm just way too.
I might be with
soccer
Diallo on this one.
Chasing?
It is ball chasing,
right,
and I definitely, I'm not watching as much as I used to, and I think I'm not watching at all. I don't know. I can't say that, but I'm probably not going to watch much at all of the World Cup. That's that. So the documentary is largely
they gave
about
Trump the Peace Prize.
They gave him. I mean, there's that. There's the promise of using the locations as ICE surveillance stations. There's there's Trump telling people he's like he's basically telling like a third of the countries we don't even want you here. he's like and then he's got his homeboy talk about replace Iran with Italy, who didn't even qualify again, which is hilarious to me. The Italians not qualifying is just the funniest shit in the world.
They ain't got enough Africans on the team.
That's their racism isn't right. And this is in part what the documentary is about, which is fascinating. And one of my arguments is that the reason the United States will not allow Black and brown people to elevate within the game is because this is one arena, pun intended, that they don't want to have to stand up there and watch the flag wave and a whole bunch of Hernandezes and Sanchez's and Rodrigos standing up there getting. So they're like and I'm serious, they would rather lose with a majority white team than, because look at what happens in France and Canada. Look at the whites in France and Canada. They're furious. Their whole teams are Black. And they're mad. They're like, but they win now. but at what cost? Exactly.
They're losing dollars and daughters. You got to sacrifice your dollars and your daughters if you want a trophy.
So the U.S., I'm telling you, the U.S. is saying no.
Skip said that Mars Garvey had to check on his teammates because he was saying like. The France team was African. And he was like, "Oh, they French." He's like, "No, they African." Like, what's up?
All that shit is weird. I look at basketball, or football, the Fighting Irish, a bunch of brothers running across, being Fighting Irish. So Blue Devils, all brothers, and a blue person on the field. So that shit is weird. I don't just ball chasing. I am a big fan of athleticism, competition in sports, but I just can't mess with the sports industry. From the collegiate level up, it's just a nightmare. I just can't do it.
Listen.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
For real. Welcome back, y'all. So me and Jared did a social investigation research. And we took some sample sizes of seeing how people need to adjust, because we're really socialists here. And so we did a fight sheet. And Diallo
we don't run nowhere.
Diallo told us that reason why he don't ever study the run sheet because he's like, I'm revolutionary. So
he's like, y'all run.
So me and Jared, we develop a stand and fight sheet or stand your ground sheet. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna ask you publicly, did you do your homework, Diallo?
Yes. Mad notes, son. It is mad real over here. It is mad real. So what you saying? PPMD, what you saying? It is mad real. Boys, all that shit. You got me looking at these corny motherfuckers, boys and kindies. Yeah, I did it.
So that's impressive. So
and I got the Google Doc up here. So yeah.
That's really
you
impressive.
Called it a stand and fight sheet. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
So real quick, did how many for the two of you, how many people hit you up to tell you that the reunion was a bad idea?
Nobody. I've only been getting positive feedback.
Oh, wow.
Okay. One. I got one. Let me not lie. Not one. I got one.
Yeah. Okay. It was probably. I wonder if it was the same one because I got one for sure. I got a couple.
Was it CD?
A couple. No. But they were like because I know everybody has their own little camps. So they were like they hit me up with that whole man. Diallo was disrespectful, man. You need to stay solo, man.
I'm glad I got an active hate. Oh, there's CD right now. See?
Yeah, nah. Yeah, CD's in there. No, I said that wasn't CD, man.
Listen, I usually have the laziest haters. I'm glad. Shout out to my hater that made an effort to hate, to put some effort in their hateration.
I didn't even answer the email.
I'm not even worth it. I'm not worth the effort. Tell that person I said thank you because most of my haters are lazy as hell, man. My haters be like them dudes that be trying to take out Trump, man. They don't be putting no real effort. Just darting through hallways. But
just a mess. Just a mess.
Right.
Although MAGA got me believing Butler was rigged, was fake.
Yeah, I believe it. Trump is
I'm not talking about you
actor.
leftists. I'm not talking about you lunatic leftists. I'm talking about the MAGA folks. My special forces YouTube channels are over here talking about it was fake.
Fake as hell. The ear cartilage, man. The ear cartilage. Present the ear cartilage.
But the part where they show the crane lowering the flag, and then as the cameramen all the cameramen move and come into the front of the stage, you see the crane lower the flag, so you get the shot with him putting his fist up in front of the flag. I said,
Alex Jones, man, yeah, that shit is fake as hell. That was
the Onion now owns his shit. That's funny. The Onion owning InfoWorld. Salute to the Onion, man. They're haters extraordinaire right there, man. I wish I could. When I grow up, I want to hate like the Onion, man.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Listen, where y'all want to go first?
You in charge, man. Go ahead, man.
Where we headed, man? Because did y'all read everything? Because I had y'all down. I had myself down a rabbit hole, and
I will tell you. I'll tell you exactly.
Just did the stuff. I just focus on what was on the stand and fight sheet. I saw that other stuff. I looked over it, but I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did everything except the only thing I didn't do was I think the Boyce video, because I read the Lenin. I even read your New Yorker Buddhist thing. I'm not sure where
I didn't read that. I read the Lenin thing.
I'm not sure if we're on the same page on the, I'm not, you're going to have to break down if we're talking about that today, you're going to have to break that down to me.
So all right, that's going to be
but anyway, but what,
let's do that one.
But I did watch I watched Kendi and Glaude and the other stuff. So whatever you want to do, I'm ready. Whatever you want to do.
So let's start here. Let's start with, because again, it was a random.
You gotta spell Carson right though. You gotta do that, man. You can't do Billy wrong like that, man.
I'm sorry, Carson. Is he kin to the other Carson?
You know what? I will say this though. The same person that said I shouldn't link back up with Diallo is also the same person that said Billy Carson has some good ideas.
All right, so
I said, you know what? I said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and back to EYN.
So before we even get to the that, like, Jared, you would have to kind of explain. You did it. I feel like you ethered him for us. For us, because I actually never really.
Can you not say ethered in reference to Jared? Right. Because after what he just said about Biggie and Jay-Z, you say you super uglied him. Say that. That's their side. You don't get to use that term ether. You don't get that's just take that out of your vocabulary.
Well honestly, right. I ain't even.
Geechee don't get it. Geechee don't get it. He ain't. No, I do get it. He's an R&B dude.
I do get it because honestly, I can't even front. Let me clear the record. I actually was on Jay-Z side versus Nas. So let me.
Outside of ether, that's so. This is again outside ether. Ether is he beasted. He got him. But overall.
Yeah.
Overall, Jay-Z got him, man.
Don't do that.
And it's not just super ugly. It's that other track on I can't remember. I gotta dust off all the arguments. But
Jay-Z's mama don't even agree with y'all.
Listen. Before these two pull me way off the topic, right? Whatever you want to call it, Billy Carson, weird ass Billy, right?
He is peculiar, isn't he?
Billy Carson is on that show, and Jared exposed it. Jared can set it up better. But I watched the whole thing. I had to. I lie. But I watched a lot of it, and every point that Billy tried to make, the white boy was just pulling shit off his shelf. Like, no, actually, that's not what that's like. But please please.
So okay, just quickly. So the white boy you're talking about is Wes Huff, and I just watched literally before we started. I was wrapping up a 3-hour video where more senior scholars in biblical studies were just destroying him. So Wes beating up on Billy was light work, but Wes is not. He's a Calvinist Christian apologist working on a PhD in biblical studies. So he doesn't study the languages. He doesn't study the histories of the region. He has already basically signed off on, the Bible being true and all of those things. So he's not, but when it comes to the basics of what the Bible is said to say, he made Billy Carson look ridiculous. So what I was trying to do in my video was show in 3 fields, and I should have made this point more clear because I had actually done the work to organize it. I didn't label it properly. But I was showing in 3 areas that Billy Carson has made a name for himself, that he's wrong in all of them almost equally. So JT the Pocket Watcher, who we all have a funny history with, Diallo ducked him when he came on our show, but oh
man, listen, divine intervention. Since we're talking about these theologians, that was divine intervention, man, because he got away with some stuff. He got away with some stuff. He said some things he didn't have to say.
From the perspective of just where I give JT credit is I think he is from the perspective of a good American black man, like a good Howard grad, bank, financial advisor. He is an honest dude. So he is at least not willfully ripping off his audience. That's
you just called that man a good German.
Well, see, so this is perfect. This is perfect, right? So
sneak dissing.
I've been telling y'all both know that I've been like working out this thing again, this Amos Wilsonian type of analysis of responses to hegemony, like how Black and brown people respond. And he talked about the homicidal response and the suicidal response, and then there's delineations between those things or whatever. JT is not taking the aggressive, taking advantage of the people. He's not this, as I show y'all, he's not Jonathan Dupperton, right?
Oh, wow.
He's not doing that. That's not what Pocket Watch are doing.
No.
But Dupperton and others are doing that. And so they are more of the aggressive, whatever. Anyway.
So yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
But this is why I'm saying that, because I want to get to Billy. I trying to figure out who the fuck is Billy. Like, is Billy, because I grew up in a Black church when I was younger. My sister kind of went away after Bennett College. She kind of like started going to mixed churches and then whatever. And so I remember going to one of them and I had to walk out of them a couple times, but there's always like a bunch of Black dudes that be there. And I'm like, is Billy that Black dude who grew up in the right church? Because he would definitely tell you I'm a Christian, whatever. And I asked, do Billy know that he's Billy Carson? Right? Do he know and he's grifting niggas and he doing whatever? Or do Billy really believe that he's Billy Carson? Like, is he like,
I don't know. So I don't. My bad. Go ahead.
But so this is how it goes to the Japan article, the New Yorker. This article talks about how. So first of all, the lady who writes the article she likes to find ways to highlight a do-gooder in the world. Like, she don't talk about structure.
Wait, before you get to the article, can I finish the quick breakdown that I was saying? So real quick, because I see him in the chat, Dr. Winkler. I think Dr. Winkler is the only one that I've seen, now that we have this new intro for this show, he might be the only one that rivals us with a show intro. And he's got this Baltimore club joint with Amos Wilson on it that is fire. The shit is phenomenal. But having an original verse from Skip Coon, I think, puts us over the top. But he's close. He's close. Right. So All right, but real quick, what I was doing was showing that JT is showing that Billy Carson is damn near a fraud when it comes to financial advice, and he does an extensive breakdown showing why you could reach that conclusion. It's at least bad. It's at least a complete, invest in crypto and all this other kind of stuff. Then I was showing how he likes to, that is, Billy Carson also apparently likes to get into science. So I had a little bit from Professor Dave showing how he doesn't like he's all with Terrence Howard on some on the science and he doesn't know what he's talking about. So I was showing that financially, and then in terms of biology and chemistry, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then finally, in terms of religion, I was showing with the atheist debate spaces and Paulogia that, starting with the Wes Huff debacle, he doesn't even know the basics of mainstream biblical scholarship, and was really made to look ridiculous in that, because I watched all of that too. But what makes it extra worse from my perspective is that he got embarrassed by someone who is himself far from a leading expert in biblical studies, especially from a critical perspective. So those scholars are just destroying Wes. He is getting ethered by people in his field. But at the end of the day, Billy has this apparently sizable black audience, if not beyond black people, where he presents himself with this authority, claiming Harvard and MIT, even though they're just certificates, they're not real degrees. And outside of those spaces, all of the experts in all of the fields in which he works or claims to be doing work are all of them saying across the board, from black to white, saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's so on the one hand, it's hilarious, but on the other hand, it's disturbing. So that was. But
can I just say this about the Carsons and the JTs, where they kind of overlap in being horrible? Because I mentioned earlier the good Germans. And there's also this concept that has really come into prominence since Trump took office, sane washing. So when you find sensible voices, practical, sensible, grounded, as y'all suggest, non-scamming, non-corrupt voices within capitalism that give some credence to capitalism or Christianity, these omnicidal systems, I think they tend to do more to serve the fanatics than they do the masses. So JT will come and tell people, hey, if you take these practical, sensible actions, you can not only survive, but thrive in this system. And most of your problems are a byproduct of your own mismanagement and your lack or your poor prioritizations. So if I was to just fall into that, then we're all going to follow the capitalist with that mindset. We would just follow the capitalist into ecological oblivion. I call that type of sensibility as meeting your cotton quota. So you would advocate for someone, hey, meet your cotton quota on the plantation, because if not, you will be beaten and other horrendous things will come your way if you don't meet your cotton quota. That's practical. It's realistic. But saying meeting your cotton quota will lead to liberation or a better life, now that's a complete distortion of the system and the role I play in the system and remedies to the system. That's my only thing, whether it's a Christian trying to say, well, let's focus on the love and peace and brotherhood part of Christianity when it's a male chauvinist murder cult, or the capitalist focusing on the personal finance, sound investments side of capitalism when it is an ecological, omnicidal system. That's my only complaint with these practical good members of bad groups.
Which is fine, right? But you have to remember, very few, if any, of JT's audience or JT himself will say anything about liberation, ever. And if
which means,
well, I'm just saying, the liberation that we talk about. Not only that, but if they do get him wrong and misplace him on the left, we are here to say, no, nigga, go sit back over there until you're ready to actually come over here. So nobody's saying JT has a conclusion. This is the argument that we always have around with Derek Hamilton. Like as an organizer, as a political educator, as a intellectual, you could be like, hey, Derek work proves to you that capitalism doesn't work. So for those of you who can't see beyond what this thing, Derek played this thing out to its conclusion, and it doesn't work. Derek ain't over here with us, but Derek work helps, contradict your work. So or contradict your
but yeah, I agree. You're right. But these types tend to be more of a problem, more of an obstacle. If every capitalist was a greedy, demented predator like Trump, it'd be much easier to convince people that capitalism doesn't work.
I see your argument.
But people that wake up to the impracticality of capitalism runs into a JT, then it's harder to push them over the threshold towards a radical analysis and revolutionary solution. Same thing with Christianity. There's all these good Christians are a problem.
So you tied
for us.
You did it perfect. You did it perfect. So did you read this? Because if not, but you did it perfect.
No, I told you I didn't mess with that mess.
So here's
sent that like 2 a.m. last night.
You did. That part is true.
You be
that part is
tweaking.
True.
Look at our beards, man. We're in bed by 8:30, the latest, and that's the weekend bedtime.
Definitely not.
No bullshit.
I ain't read that.
Jared be up like 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the time Jared wake up.
That's true. I go.
Yes,
that's true.
That's wake up. So imagine when he go to bed.
That's waking up because I got my 8 hours already. I started at 5 o'clock the night before.
So no, I did not look at it. It's interesting. I look forward to looking at it. But no, don't be sending me no stuff.
Geechee said, "Can we do the show at 6 o'clock on Sunday?" I said, "Hell no!" I said, "I'll be asleep at 6 o'clock on Sunday." What the fuck you talking about?
And then when my phone starts buzzing and vibrating after 8, 9 o'clock, she starts looking over my shoulder and shit.
Yeah,
don't be sending shit. I just gotta turn my phone off. It's my own fault.
I haven't set. My shit is set 9 o'clock. From 9 o'clock to 7 a.m. My phone is dead. You can't.
No alerts.
Diallo, you're in the conscious community. You're not supposed to have the cell phone close to your throne, and you're supposed to have it up. No, but so
I do. You're right though. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna leave it on my desk. So I'm not bringing it to bed no more.
I'm gonna tie these all in real quick. So this Larissa Mark Farquhar, I don't know how you pronounce her name, but this person, again, her whole political background is to write about do-gooders who sacrifice being a big star to go serve unfortunate people, right? So she did something on Obama. She also did something on Noam Chomsky and whatever. So maybe she might be flirting left and center, but she likes to study these people, right? So she's studying this monk who turned to this guru who helping people feel more better about suicide in Japan, right? And again, this is through this Buddhism or Buddhist outlook where they kind of look at suicide more progressive than the religious Christians here. Right, but the state, the people who control the I guess the apparatus, they are essentially saying like it's more honorable to die with that, and then it cleans your slate. Like it's kind of like, yo, if you owe us money and you can't pay it back, if you die, boom, you be restored back to whatever. So like over there, it's using the Buddhist religion as a way to like none of it's going to lead to a radical conclusion, but over there, it's like, here, you stay here and fight and get to heaven in the sky or whatever. This one's saying like, well, if you can't pay your debt, to die. So the suicide rate is high.
And neither one of them say fight for political power and redistribution of wealth. Because that's all I kept reading. Because especially you had me read this after the Lenin piece.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? I can't. That's why I was like, I can't stand. I was so irritated by this, and it's a New Yorker piece, all that liberal shit. I was like, this is just ugh.
So I was trying to find some so I got some comrades in Japan who they're now working on the Chris Payne case. It's a black man who was falsely accused of rape and I think something murder. I can't remember the full details, but they're fighting. And I was trying to tap in and say, like, what type of left stuff is there? Because I saw some left people, but they said there were people influenced by Lenin and Marx, and they counter. I guess they would call themselves atheists, but they counter a lot of this rhetoric. So I couldn't really find people, and maybe they'll send some stuff later. But I just used that quote because again, when we think about liberation theology, and we think about like the Billy Carson. So there's a Billy Carson, and then there's a Skip. There's a whoever this guy name is, and there's somebody else in the Japanese whatever.
Ain't no such thing as liberation theology.
You can say what
we
you
got
want.
40 minutes into the first show, and you talking liberation.
You can say what you want. What I'm saying is there's a state who controls the how people react to a particular religion. And there's people within that who, so again, there's some Buddhist people who also would look at the situation that this dude looking at, and he would charge a structural change, a revolutionary change. Here's an example, Jerry. I think if you read the whole thing, do you remember the time? So this dude, he gets emails from people talking about suicide and like, we're going to do this, whatever. You remember the time that the one lady who was writing him, she was writing him with her husband, and then she divorced her husband to go live with her boyfriend. But then he was like, well, my boyfriend really don't fuck with some of the stuff you're saying. And her boyfriend actually looked like he had a structural analysis, but they never finished talking about the boyfriend. But he was, so because Diallo and you are like this, in Japan, they say that the men, right, after they can't make it in society and run through the capitalist world, they go within and they just sit home and never leave the house. And they
Hakikimoris.
Yeah.
Hakikimoris.
And
yeah, that's just but here's first of all,
really quick, last thing, the guy who was writing, he said the Hakikimoris are just like the monks. They're useless to society. Y'all just go around.
They're not like the monks.
This is what he said, his critique. Y'all go around and y'all stay in this thing, and you even walk around and ask people to feed you, right? So the monks is walking around getting fed. And he said, but one of y'all might come and probably be good to society. I guess he was trying to big the man up because he made it in his business. Ironically, he had to change the methods of the way he was doing therapy because he was taking all the people grief and it was fucking him. But the overall critique that boyfriend was given, it just looked like he would have come to a structural conclusion. But go ahead.
Yeah, but that was my point with the whole. That was my problem with the whole thing. That anybody that would have pointed towards, like the article talks about suicide rates in various countries being related to various environmental and economic, sociological, whatever factors
and cultural.
But then it just moves on. And just to write about the monks and the influencer and the letters and the emails and it's like, isn't anybody going to stay on the part where they raise the question of why are so many people killing themselves? And they're like, nah, we're good. Let's get back to the Buddhism and versus the Christianity.
What you about to say, Joe Diallo?
Well, we have the same phenomenon. We got incel, and there's different types of suicide, from the extreme part to social suicide. But ultimately, I think if you approach it from the understanding that we in the West give a pass to Hinduism and Buddhism as some exotic Eastern philosophy, when they're just backwards ass male chauvinist murder cults as well. They're colonial, imperialist, racist, the caste system. In fact, Hindu and Buddhist racism and exclusion, and the monks were not these pious men. Monks were not pious men. Monks were rulers. They were brutal, murderous rulers. Even the what's that dude's name? The boy, the man that asked the child to suck his tongue. The Dalai Lama. Yeah. Go look it up.
Oh, I do remember that. You're right.
Yeah. So we are kind of detached because all three of us have encountered Christian backwardness and dysfunction, and I'm sure Islamic or religious fanaticism to a certain degree. But, when people want to escape the Western religions, they run to the East. And there's not a liberal or progressive or a leftist that hasn't gone through their whole meditation, holistic phase and putting up Hindu and shit now. But those religions are just as bad as Christianity. It's just as bloodthirsty as Islam, and they are not exotic. So if you're looking to say, well, they have different terminology, whether it's hikikomori or incel. When you take a secular, rational look at it, it's Marxist alienation. It's Marxist alienation. People put in a market system. We live in an economy when we're built and evolved to live in an ecology. That's what it all comes down to. And all that shit got to be deconstructed, all unjust hierarchies.
Yeah, I don't think the story says capitalism once, does it?
No.
Because it's a New Yorker story. You can't say that shit.
And it doesn't mention the U.S.
The Hindus love capitalism. All them deep, spiritual, ringing bells and chanting. Hinduism, capitalism goes full throttle in the Hindu world. The income inequality and wealth accumulation. Why was capitalism so compatible with Hinduism and Buddhism?
So, Jared, that's why I intentionally
and Taoism.
This is why I intentionally put that that Lenin statement in there that you said you didn't read, but then you read and you loved it. And based off of what Diallo is saying, because I know we be having two different conversations sometimes. What did you take from that Lenin?
My first take was that Lenin thought Marx wasn't going hard enough. So he said, let me just clarify so nobody can be confused later on. It is the opium of the masses. And now where did I? It was a link. Where did I put the damn thing? Was it a PDF?
It's a link.
No, that was the New York. That was the New Yorker piece. Hold on.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. So here, can I?
You want to share?
Yeah, I think. Or no, go ahead. Did you have yours up there? Go ahead.
If you highlighted yours, you can put it up there too. So, like if you had.
Yeah, I did. I don't need the tips. Let's see which one. Lenin. Yeah. So just off the top, present day society is wholly based on exploitation of the vast masses of working class by a tiny minority of the population, the class of landowners, and that of the capitalists. It is a slave society, since the free, quote unquote, workers who all their life work for the capitalists are entitled only to such means of subsistence as are essential for the maintenance of slaves who produce profit for the safeguarding and perpetuation of capitalist slavery. So the second thought I had after that was that Joe Budden and them needed to have read this a couple weeks ago before they had their discussion about Jay-Z and capitalism. They would have benefited.
They only started hating on capitalism when black men got rich.
And that's what and Chappelle was back to say that again on his NPR interview.
That's the wildest shit I ever heard in my life.
Yeah. I think if I was ever going to believe in a conspiracy around the black capitalist community, this would be the time. I mean, I feel like there's a whole pattern, a script being followed by these black capitalists. Promoting themselves and protecting themselves. That's a good question. Because it does seem like they all getting cues from somewhere, but the default is, what's his name, George Soros? Well, Soros, I was going to say just the Jews in general, so, but get more specific. with
well, if you want to duck anti-Semitism,
if you want to duck right. If I want to, I don't want to be anti-Semitic, so I'll just say it was George Soros.
You want to be anti-Semitic, but plausible.
Right. I just don't want to be. I don't want to be accused of it, so I'll just say it's Soros.
Remember all the rappers and prominent Negroes, Mayweather? They were doing photo ops with Forbes and Warren Buffett. Remember that was the hottest shit about 10 years ago, to post on your socials having tea or coffee with not Soros so much, but Forbes and Buffett
for sure.
So can you go down to that paragraph that says our program is based entirely on scientific?
You said it. Right here. Our program is based entirely on the scientific and moreover materialist world outlook.
Yeah, so I love that you actually highlighted some of the one on the second paragraph, but the last part is what I highlighted. So I would be curious to know why you highlighted the Lenin quote there. I know you was about to say he took it further than Marx, but
only in that earlier in the piece, he just more. It just seems to be more explicitly to say it just reads as a more explicit. First of all, in the Marx part where we just went over it again a couple of weeks ago, where he's talking about religion as the opium of the masses. But he's saying it in a slightly more nuanced way in the context of talking about how the economy impacts the development of people's thinking. And I can't remember now the details of that, but this piece from Lenin is shorter and is almost exclusively focused on the question of religion, whereas Marx was making it more in a passing reference to make a broader point. Lenin is doing the same thing; he's making a broader point, but this is a more focused and sustained discussion of religion. So that was the part I meant. And now, in terms of the different highlights, you were saying in the paragraph starting, but under no circumstances, you highlighted something different.
Yeah. So
go ahead. Yeah.
So if we go back to history, you got Marx is intellectual, right? And Engels is bankrolling some of his life. And then you fast forward, Lenin is applying what they're talking about, and he's organizing, right? He's the organizer. He's leading the revolution. So, I don't know. Whatever you want to call him, but it seems like he's with the people more than Marx was with the people. Would you say that or no?
I mean, when the revolution jumped off, he was in the salons of France. He had to hop on a train. Okay. So when the revolution kind of jumped off, he ran back. Take nothing from Lenin.
Wow, that's an uncharitable.
Wait.
That's one of my favorite white men of all time. Take nothing away from Lenin.
Let me come back because
it's the people.
Let's look at that.
The people them.
All I'm saying is the people them. The people. Anyway, I feel like his going further. What Jared was saying was this method at the bottom. It says unity in the really revolutionary struggle of the oppressed class for the creation of a paradise on earth is more important to us than the unity of proletarian opinions on paradise in heaven. So that I think that was like, again, back to, and again, this is to the point when I said like I know Diallo don't want to call it liberation theology, but whatever.
There's not.
There's a Skip, there's a Billy Carson. There's a this dude, and then there's people who want to do structural change, want to do revolution, right? And if you're trying to organize, I mean, it's, again, spending time or whatever. That quote to me seems like it talks about a method and advice on if you actually want to, because me and you, we talked about this before. If we want to actually do something here, the way in which we engage each other might be different.
Well, but I think that Lenin is also agreeing, going back to our season 1 arguments over this, is agreeing with me. Because Lenin is in this piece saying, look, religion is the opium of the masses, but at the same time, a lot of our people believe in this stuff. So when it comes to, as Malcolm X would later say, when it comes to their personal private interests, just keep your religion in the closet. Now, when it comes to political parties and organizing in the state, we have to be very aggressive in keeping religion out of everything. Like religion has to be kept out of everything.
Secularism, right?
Yeah. So he was. So he's clear. Like we got to get rid of it eventually, but we also have to recognize that a bulk of our people have been caught up in the propaganda for a long time.
Analysis.
But he also said religion is not personal or private. You know, in this same article
level, at the state level.
But even at the individual level, nobody indoctrinated their damn self. You know, so that's what people always hit me, you know, let people just believe what they want to believe, as if those beliefs do not translate into everything they contact and are connected with. You know,
but that's why he's saying people at this point, people are going to believe what they need to believe or what they're caught up in believing. Once we enact this revolutionary state and which keeps religion completely out of this, and once the society learns on the basis of this new socialist revolution what a society can look like under this, you know, organized scientific redistribution, they'll eventually grow out of it. Is the way I took what he was saying.
Well, you're putting your editorial,
I am
like your editorial, but
that's what I said. That's how I took what he said. He didn't say that. What do you think he said?
Unity is unity in this really revolutionary struggle. Like unity in the struggle is what the fuck I'm talking about. That's material. You can measure it. You can see it. I can see Skip showing up and doing this shit right there. Boom. Struggle of the class, the oppressed class, right? The oppressed class, there's an oppressed class in every religion. Every religion has an oppressed class, group of people in there who identify as oppressed class and willing to fight and do something different. Oppressed class for the creation of a paradise. You're trying to materially create something right here on this fucking earth. Is more important to us than unity of proletariat opinion on a paradise in heaven. I don't give a fuck about what you're talking about over there, what you leave over there, high in the sky. I'm not about to argue about none of that shit. Like, I don't really care. What I do care about is, bitch, can we put in heaven right here? Like this, and how is your heaven? Is your heaven is everybody get the education? Is your like whatever the fuck? Can we do that here? I ain't about to argue about that shit in terms of revolution. Like we trying to win. We nobody trying to argue about some dumb shit. Now back to Jared's point. At the state level, that's a whole different conversation. Because now like you have the apparatus that socializes the whole fucking population. So like at that point, that's a different conversation over there.
How do you separate them?
I think you would
one's personal faith and the institution of faith.
We shall oppose it by calmly, consistently, and patiently preaching proletarian solidarity and the scientific world outlook, a preaching alien to any stirring up of secondary differences. That's why I'm saying I took it the way I took it. That I took him to be saying we have to take our time and just as long as we're aggressive when it comes to the party and to the state, that religion cannot participate. Everything else needs to be taught and shown through the demonstration of a new society that you no longer need these beliefs. That's
so
yeah. Because that's why. Well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying you don't have. I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying that's how I took what he's saying, and I do agree with it. But I'm saying that's what I am. But that's why Geechee. Why I'm saying I took this as my view of what he's saying because of in part what he's saying here that we have to be patient and stick to the scientific script, so to speak, and eventually they'll catch up.
So no, listen, I want to wrap this.
That's not the and it's crazy. It's crazy though.
It's the final. Diallo, I promise you, we're gonna stay there another hour. This is the finalizing question. I know y'all both don't know. Jared don't like this, but Diallo kind of likes this. With that said, right now back to the article. This Japanese person, right? Again, at 14, he was in a motorcycle accident, and then he turned into a what's the name? The Itsutsu? What you call? I don't know. The people who stay home.
Incel.
All right, so
the Hikikimori. Hikikimori.
So he's staying there. He's playing video games, and he's coming one of them. His mom is laughing like, ha, 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 look at this monk program. They got a monk program. And he's like, oh, yeah, but monk program. And he goes into the monk program. Now, this is after he was in a bike accident at 14. And he was saying he was living wild and whatever. So he goes to the monk program, and he goes there for 4 years, right? And then he quits. He steps away from the monk's program to go work at a fast food restaurant. Back to his childhood, his uncle died of suicide. So he and people around him were dying of suicide. Again, he's 30 years after Tokyo was destroyed by the U.S. They're still dealing with the structural shit. Anyway, he actually starts to again give people more because there's death doulas in the U.S. now. So in Japan, he's giving a more progressive outlook on death, and he really is doing this, and he believed this shit because even when he was at the fast food restaurant, people would come and talk to him about death, and he'd be like, "Oh, I want to help them," so he wanted to be a mental health or whatever. So he became famous not because he wanted to be famous, like maybe some other people here. He became famous because the work that he was already doing got him exposure. So he has there's a documentary he's on, and then this New Yorker magazine by this liberal lady. My question is, again, Billy Carson's, is he somebody who is a grifter, and he know for a fact he's Billy Carson, and he's just taking advantage of people, whatever? Because again, Jared always used to argue, and I'd be like, he mean to do it, or like I'm throwing my intent, but can you measure that? Or is Billy is he really fucking do he really believe the shit that he's saying? And again, you could add JT, you could add many people in this conversation when you say that. So I'm curious about like a Billy Carson, and then just opposed to
what you're asking, is he delusional or is he dishonest?
Those are the only two options.
Right. But the issue is those are not mutually exclusive mindsets. So he could be all of one or the other, or a little bit of one or the other, some type of mixture or imbalance. I think he definitely, to the extent that he really believes there is a God in heaven watching him jack off, that's delusional. But to the point where someone says God spoke to me and instructed me to do this or put this on my heart, that's just dishonesty. So I think people can believe in God sincerely and then assert that God has put them on a mission dishonestly, or God has touched them, or God has spoke to them dishonestly. So I believe there's a God, and God won't speak to me, so I'll just speak to myself. You know what I'm saying? So I find that there's the varying degrees and intensity of both in every believer, except Skip.
Listen, I got to add one little except that's funny.
Skip and Dick Gregory, but the rest of them.
Listen, I got to add another layer to this, because since I've gotten more involved with YouTube and see a little bit from the studio side of things, how the algorithm works and the levels of detail and information you get, I do find it a little more difficult to believe people are being honest, because you can see the numbers very clearly. So for instance, just on my own channel, if I just went by the algorithm, if I just watched Roland Martin's show every day and made a criticism, had a critical video of his show on a daily basis, I might be able to retire like early. Like the on my channel, that's one thing, for instance, the algorithm is telling me to do. So it could easily, now I could understand how I might be able to unconsciously convince myself that I'm doing it out of some righteous and justifiable blah, 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 blah. But on some level, it's just look at what the algorithm is telling me to do and go do a video saying this. So I know Billy Carson looks on his algorithm and can see when I do a video talking about the Anunnaki and the aliens built the pyramids and this and all that, came down and gave us this ancient wisdom, my numbers go through the roof. And when I sit there and can talk about, I found the missing thing in the Bible that says that Jesus was never crucified and died of old age and this, that, and the third, my numbers go through the roof. And then it can just very easily become, I no longer care if I'm actually researching and knowing what the hell I'm talking about. I no longer care if there's meaning and substance in the video. I just see the number go up. So I don't know. I just want to throw that out there. It's because the YouTube, the surveillance we're under is deep, and the analytics we get just as creators are pretty thorough. Never mind what's really going on. So like it's you can tweak your content if you really want to, if you want to maximize the grift, so to speak. So yeah.
Yeah, so. I'm gonna bring it back to a Diallo point earlier about the JTs. Why you want to be careful for them, right? So I think you can verify it. Like, so we talk about the people we know personally, and we know these people off the camera. So we know for a fact they bullshitting because they'll tell you, like, y'all had conversations with niggas and be like, I don't really believe none of this shit. I'm just getting the bag. Like, and these are people, whatever. So with Billy or whoever, we can only, I guess, speculate, right? Even with the Jonathan Duperton, I have my homeboy from Baltimore who live here in Atlanta now. He had Jonathan Duperton on his show, and I told him, I said, bro, that nigga's saying some wild shit. Like, and he was like, man, he said, I don't care about none of that shit. That he said, I ain't even listen to it because I'm just trying to get my numbers up. So he's intentionally doing it. For the person who really believes that, so Billy, to Jared's point, Billy can still do that and still believe what he's saying, because Billy could be like, God has called me to minister in this arena and I have to be a businessman and entrepreneur. Like, he could believe it. And because he's sincere and not maybe a grifter in his mind, he can appeal to the type of people that we organize in, i.e. the most people who believe in religion. So how do we now out-organize them motherfuckers or out-propagandize JT, back to Diallo point, like, agree. Like, yeah, he helps us do this, but how important is it to give it to JT just as much as you giving it to anybody else that don't have that is just
phrasing.
Why he didn't say give it to him? Wow. He was cooking, man.
Answer the question, though. Answer the question so we can move on to the next topic.
Let me tell you something. That just a suggestion that, hey, all we need is the truth. All we need to do is come with the truth and the facts and the evidence, and eventually there will be a great awakening. When these motherfuckers, the capitalists and the Christians, or the theocrats and the parasites, they came with the sabers and cannons and gunboats. They were literally inquisition after inquisition, raids. Like, they would lock up all the grain, and if you didn't accept Allah or Buddha or whatever, you starve. So we're looking at systems that were imposed through brute force, relentless brute force, and we think we can simply out-debate them. So what we have to do, and that's why I think it's not enough. I'm an atheist. But like Jared was saying, when it comes to organizing and linen, I'm secular, which means I don't exclude the faithful, but I don't allow that to contaminate the work. So even though I don't believe that religion is ever, or faith, or even spirituality, I say spirituality is religion for lazy people. I don't believe any of that stuff is just unique to you or just your personal walk with your Lord and Savior. That's bull. But I think we have to be as aggressive in fighting these religious institutions, and I think we need to start attacking the institutions, not the believers. That think
definitely that part for
subverting.
Sure,
yeah, I that's always I try to do. I fail miserably. You know, I'm practicing, but I haven't mastered. I try to just focus my critiques, criticism, condemnation, mockery, denunciation of the institutions and the dogma and the ideas and the claims, and not attack the individuals unless those individuals elevate themselves as an embodiment, spokesperson, priest, someone with status, cult leader within that. Then I think they are fair game. But I think secularist, atheist, rationalist, skeptics need to start being more assertive, aggressive, direct, and as relentless. And fortunately, we are at a time where we can talk it out, or we are in a space where we can talk it out. But in some spaces, you got to take it to the mattresses. Because the more power theocrats come, I mean, you could see that as fascism and theocracy, Christian nationalism takes hold, it's going to go from the internet or debates or the soapboxes, listening to Black Hebrews scream at you from fucking podiums on the street, to where it may come to physical confrontations, where they're pushing in places, pulling out guns on drag queens and running up in secular or non-religious spaces trying to assert their will. So we need to prepare for that while we are continuously, and I say, treat your religion like your genitalia. Enjoy it as much as you want in your own space. But the moment you put it on the table in a public place, I have a right to critique it.
or just leave. But Diallo got the believers like.
Right. That's my thing. Treat your religion like your genitalia and we'll be all right.
Listen, hey, that man, hey, Jay.
I couldn't watch all of that. I couldn't watch that.
I didn't watch. I only watched enough to get that clip. That shit has me laughing.
I couldn't look, man. I thought I was hard. I still got a little bit of soul left.
I know you don't watch.
I still got somewhat of an immortal soul because I couldn't watch that whole shit.
I know you don't watch.
I was
soccer,
like,
you don't watch soccer, but listen, Jared just scored a goal on you that you just wasn't ready for. Right? You went in with the basket. You was like, you put your stuff on the table. You put your penis on the table. All I gotta do is. He said,
I didn't say penis. I said genitalia.
Or you can leave.
Now you thinking you went to penis immediately, but there's other forms of genitalia.
How else you gonna put that on anyway? The point is,
how you gonna put it? What else you gonna put on the?
Hey, I've seen some. They can put it on the glass. You don't listen to Sir Mix a lot. Women can put it on the glass. It's a whole song about it. What you talking about? I've seen it. I've been places. In my college days, I've seen it be put on.
Let's stick to the script. Go ahead, Jared.
What script?
I'm trying. Is it the standard fight sheet? The fight sheet.
Oh my goodness!
I'll organize.
Hold on.
I'll organize in the JTs and
exactly.
JTs.
I don't know where y'all be at.
What? Now I can't find. What was I supposed to say about the HBCUs? Where's the run sheet? Where's the stand and fight sheet?
Can we have a cleanser? Is there a gong or something? I know I've been tearing down the East. But is there a way to realign our chakras? Do we have a gongs?
Oh my goodness!
or a chime?
We ain't got no gong. Hey, but listen, we since you start talking about dealing with the institutions and not necessarily the people, right? I think it's time for us. Yeah, we're gonna have to go on a Black College tour, right? So there's 3 stories. There's Ibram Kendi. There's this white politician at a HBCU in Texas, and then there's my folk in Orangeburg, South Carolina State, dealing with their Republican who wanted to come to the campus, and the students was like, nah. Which one of those you interact with first?
Well, if I can, let me just do the Ibram Kendi one because
that dude, man,
it's
talk about somebody that found a good hustle.
You know, the one thing I meant to do that I didn't, and I would have liked to for today, is go back and reread Keeanga Yamada Taylor's critique of his time in Boston, which at the time I thought was fascinating, and I just but I don't have the memory to recall it at the moment. But my point being that he had this well-funded center in Boston that fell apart for whatever reasons, and he was brought down to Howard. Well, yeah. But he moved down, took this big gig at Howard last year, where some, including Greg Carr, raised some questions about the need for his position and his role. And I actually covered this at the time when the story broke, because Greg Carr was one of the people quoted as basically raising criticism, saying, why do we need this new position in this big time outside celebrity hire when we have a viable African-American studies department? So like, why, you know, that was at least from my immediate memory the basic foundation of the critique, the public critique. But here he comes, and a year into his time at Howard. Oh, by the way, and in that initial story, I found it quite funny, and the author of the piece and I had a nice, you know, laugh about it, because I emailed her to say, I saw what you did in the story, and I just want to confirm that I caught it, because the story ended with the reporters noting that as Kendi was walking across Howard's campus, some of the students yelled out to him, "HU," and he did not know that. He did not respond with that, though. His response was something like, you know, it's great to be here at Howard, or something like that. Just left it there to make the point that he doesn't really know where he's at. He's not really, you know, a part of this community, this connected, you know, Black scholar, blah, blah, blah. That was really her point. And if you go to Howard, and especially if you take a big gig, and even if you've never been a student there, you know, myself included, everybody knows, as was just said, when you hear HU, everybody knows, you know, is the response. And he didn't get it. So it was just kind of a funny point. But the end of it all here is that he is now the inaugural Carter G. Woodson Endowed Chair in History for the College of Arts and Sciences. And that endowment is underwritten by a $3 million gift from several key benefactors, including donations from the Strupski Foundation. So, again, especially, you know, what little of his work I've read, this more recent interview with Eddie Glaude that I know we were talking about, I'm just not surprised that that he would be invited to Howard, and then that he would find himself with this. I mean, you know, really. Oh, I was about to pull up the Strupski Foundation. I don't know.
No, we could.
What is this?
This is a Howard chair, right? And you can buy this Howard chair for $38 if anybody want a Howard chair. Yeah, Howard chair. Like when you know buying Howard chairs. Yeah,
I get it.
They bought this.
But I just got one thing to say though on this. They deserve each other.
That's fair.
Wait. Who you talking about? Him and
Howard University and Ibrahim. They deserve each other.
Oh, I thought you was talking about Jared Homeboy. Never mind.
No, it's a match made on the back porch of heaven. You know, we forget.
His back porch of heaven. We
forget. And I hate that they're using Carter G. Woodson's name in vain. I'm about to get religious because that's what, you know, that's our worship. I'm into ancestor worship. that they're using his name in vain. Do we forget Khalid Muhammad called it Coward University? We don't remember at their charter school, they wouldn't allow black children to wear dreadlocks because they said that they're preparing the youth to enter the professional world. I mean, just these institutions, and Carter G. Woodson was the main person talking about these institutions of higher learning, educating Negroes out of their minds. So, you know, there's a lot to critique about him, but I think it's most HBCUs, if not all of them. And I got family at HBCUs, past and present. And I was just talking to a little cousin that's planning on applying next year. So I'm not even saying this as somebody who doesn't lend some level of support and solidarity, but these HBCUs, they deserve an Ibrahim. It is a ecosystem of Negroosity.
So I hear that, right? But again, Jared is on the campus, and I think I'm gonna be on the campus a little TT. And your wife is on the campus, right? And there's a
I heard that too, Steve. I heard that too.
Do I gotta go get my roots? I'm sorry, Geechee. Do I gotta go get my roots reggae album, the Dreadman? So you gonna tell the Rastaman, come now, man. Come now, man. Don't make me pull out my fake accent upon you. Don't tell me I can't do. We say locks. Get the blood clot.
Hey man,
Stop it.
Diallo.
I mean, people is so right. They circle back to being wrong.
Listen, Diallo in our group text trying to find out if I can get them some lace front locks. So.
As the technology progresses, I will entertain it. They're being harder to spot. I need to give it a few more years for the technology.
But let me go back from your fatalism, because there's still students and faculty and people and just the world out there engaging in colleges, and there's colleges, maybe Jared will agree, should be, even though it isn't, a site of struggle. I would assume that you would agree that. Maybe we wouldn't, I don't know. But Jared.
Yeah, because look how they fully embraced Dr. Ball's radical critiques, how loved he is and celebrated and lifted up on the shoulders of these black institutions.
Every day I go to work, it's like a celebration.
Exactly. Walking across the parking lot on rose petals.
It's not currently a site of struggle, right? But the function.
Yeah, it is a site of struggle.
Well, not for we're not struggling right now. We're not
struggling against. Okay,
we're not winning the struggle. The point, so Jared, functionally, him being a chair of this endowment, and what is his role for the institution? Do he approve what type of history gets studied? Like, I know he's supposed to be the magazine. I think he took the magazines from Boston, and now it's going to be developed there. And I also know that there's a black woman who critiqued him that said, like, Ibram Kendi and his structural leadership is he's trying to do. He's not anti-racist. He can't do it all by himself. It's not him. It's a collective thing, right? And the lady who's doing the critique, I was trying to look and see what else she was talking about, but her politics seems interesting. Like, she's a little lefter than everybody else there. And so, but what is his role as the chair of this thing? And then I guess what does that do on a college campus? Because I do have students at Spelman and Morehouse, like they're frustrated with their institution, but they also, I mean, everybody going to college, I guess. I mean, everybody got to go to college at some point. But yeah, what is he doing? Like, what is his function?
So again, I'm not at Howard, and I don't know the details, and I'm not ever around these levels of resources and acceptance, etc. So, but my initial thought is that, you know, and all universities have a version of this, and Howard is chief among them. It's a PR hit, first of all. So getting someone as popular as he is who sells as many books as he does, who does as many popular interviews as he does, and who is at least has a track record of being in association with fundraising. This is just a huge win. And even when there's backlash from certain sectors of popular white conservative spaces who take shots at him, and they're therefore revalidating him in particularly among in the eyes of a certain class of Black thinkers and leaders, it's all news is good news. So it's not that much different than, you know, when Hannah Nicole Jones got the job there, or what's her name, Felicia Rashad took the job there, you know.
Oh wow! I remember.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's no different than when Morgan. It's no different than when Morgan hired, you know, Stanley Nelson, you know, for a period of time. The idea is that you attach yourself to a name, they will carry your name. It's that kind of thing. You know, I think it's pretty clear. Everyone knows, for the most part, it's not because they think students will be invited to a new level of intellectual engagement. Most students, I'm certain most students have not read his books or paid him much attention. So that's
a good thing.
For that. Yeah. But
Jared, listen, man, bring me on the team. I could get you 7-figure endowments. Pause. I can get you well endowed. All you got to do, like, you take your book. That's the terminology. I'm trying to speak academia. Listen, you change the title of your book, The Truth and Revelation.
Oh, like Cameron, pink purple horse.
The Truth and Revelation. You ain't even got to change the text. Just change the cover.
Truth
change
and
the color to money green, and the truth and revelation of Black buying power. And we could shop that around and get you endowed.
Right. But the last, just quickly, the last point about that, though, that is funny. The last point about that is that it's people like this, I think, are hired and put in place not because they will change anything on the campus, but because they are doing what the campus wants and the institution is already wanting to reflect. So, and especially after, and it's a way of talking about race that the Black bourgeoisie will not find unacceptable. It's so it's perfect. So Diallo is right in that regard. Like, he is perfect for Howard University. And I think it just says everything about the politics of these institutions. That's all.
But why they got to bring down, my only problem with it is why they got to sully Carter G. Woodson. Why they got to do that? It's so many prominent Negroes that they could have used.
But I think that's my point, though, with the question about how is it functionally in society. Like, is it Ibram Kendi, like, as that chair position that he has of African-American history, is he like, he's going to be producing research, obviously. He'll produce research, and it's going to be his job to change the image of Carter G. Woodson. So that's why they would do it. It's like, and so when Black people start talking about Carter G. Woodson, they ain't going to hear from Diallo's study past. It's going to hear from, like, this nigga really, he has a Malcolm X young kids reader. You understand that? Like this dude is going to be teaching Black kids on eons on how to read Malcolm X, how to read Donald Duck. Like, this is what, like this.
Except he's not doing it that way. Yeah.
He was talking about this. He don't even come up. He's unoriginal as hell. He's like, racism will be abolished when white kids and Black kids can sit next to each other in classrooms, and the white kids figure out that the Black kids aren't going to eat them.
Yeah, that was wild.
He's digging up shit from the 40s and 50s civil rights era.
That was wild. Huh? But listen, so again, I know Diallo was joking a little bit, but Jared, back to this point of the the campus being, the institutions, universities being a site of struggle, knowing that there are students there who resist stuff. We're going to get into a story where this SGA at South Carolina and them, they the one who organized and said, we ain't want that lady here. And they had protests and then the lady didn't come or whatever. So there's and there's always students doing things. And so, yeah, like, would you respond to the whole concept of like it being a site of struggle? Like, again, I mean, the institutions either should be controlled by us or it's going to be controlled by them, and should we fight? Or,
but again, so again, as I continue to say and understand the history, these are not our institutions, and I think the Black community has to really come to terms with that, to the extent it believes these are our institutions. They are not. And again, whether it's the history of Morgan State or any other, whether it's who they're named after, who their founding presidents were, who their funders are, these are, so to the extent that they are sites of struggle, they are a struggle to have Black people coming from conditions of struggle themselves, trying to engage these institutions on that basis, while the institutions are saying, we're only here to produce acceptable Black citizens. And then really the more I'm becoming a cliche as I get older, and I'm becoming more and more cynical. It's not even to produce good Black citizens anymore. It's to manage as many people as possible for a 6-year or so period and get as much from them financially as you can, whether they graduate or not. And it's becoming, unfortunately, I'm seeing it more. That sister that wrote that piece that I talked about a couple weeks ago from Spelman, that student who said that they are only creating Black excellence ambassadors. That's what these institutions that are churning out.
Gabrielle, that's one of my students. Yeah. But
she's sharp, and she's
That's my point.
Anyway,
though,
go ahead. Yeah,
I think that's my point. Like, in terms of, so I and DL, I want you to answer this. This person is saying, aren't HBCUs named after white folks? That's one thing. We're not talking about the funding. The white folks is named after whatever. And then there's students on the campus, and then there's professors on the campus. Like, the type of conversation I be having with Jared, like online, offline, I be having it with Andrew, Tyra, Dr. Hewitt, Dr. Sam Livingston, and they all in one campus together. So I'm not saying that you got a better chance to fight, but I don't know. I'm curious. Diallo, Jared says the institution, they are not our institutions. Obvious, yes, great. And then what we say in terms of our analysis is we want to take over the state apparatus. Is that too? What's being said there? Like, will we take over the state apparatus and create new institutions, or can institutions be taken over as well? Or is that even a logical fight? Or does that make sense?
Well, yeah, there's a political science term called agency capture, where if an agency exists to serve a function, the people who the function is being exercised upon are able to capture the infrastructure and have it work against its initial function. And that is a constant threat in the intelligence apparatus. I don't know if it's used in academia, but it's happened. So there can't be an institution set up to pacify or create pacifiers, create status quo Negroes that becomes a bastion of radicalism. And then where there have been many people who have gone to HBCUs and have been radicalized by professors. You always got some out of pocket, out of place, misbehaving. And these institutions kind of tolerate that because at the same time they repress their radical professors, they also need the legitimacy of the radical professors to carry out the larger hustle. It's like the gay choir director. You got a church and a minister up there preaching against homosexuality is abomination of sin. But the choir director, he knows he couldn't pack people in and had a house rocking and jamming without the gay choir director, who also does the arrangements, the flower arrangements and all that. So Jared's kind of like, the academic version of the gay choir director. And there's many of them out there, radical thoughts that the institution does not get behind, does not support, advocate, or even reinforce, but it gives a level of Black legitimacy to it. And one thing that Bobby E. Wright said that always stuck with me, he said, in any other country, when there is an uprising amongst the people, the first thing they do is shut down the universities. But he said in the Black community, when there's an uprising in the Black community, the first thing they do is open schools and give out scholarships. So throughout history, institutions of higher learning have been, Jared's gone. When he come back, don't tell him I said he's the academic version of a gay choir director. Let's just keep that between all of us. And he said the first thing, so yes, these schools do pacify, but there is a way to use those resources, the legitimacy that a degree gives you, the access, the opportunity to connect, the techniques. Like Bobby Wright also said, their schools can't educate us, but they can train us in the skills that we need. But your education must come from your community. So we have to be ideologically educated from the movement, and we can be formally or technically trained in their institutions. So I think that's how it works. So I would not discourage both. I have one son ready to graduate college and one going into college. My college career was very fulfilling for me. And so I don't discourage people from that, but we do have to turn it. If the colleges are turning out a whole bunch of status quo Negroes and not enough Pan-African conscious revolutionaries, we do have to create alternate institutions. At the same time we extract from their shit, we have to create alternate shit so that we can balance out and surpass that equation.
So first of all, Bluetooth headphones travel. So that was messed up. That was messed up. That was messed up.
Accuracy.
I was like, I can't believe he just said I'm the equivalent of the gay choir director. That's messed up.
Man,
if you have a radical in a status quo institution,
that's what they are.
That's anti-radicalism. What?
There. All right. Well,
listen. So good man. Wow. So listen. So that's one HBCU. We got on the plane and we left DC. Where did we fly out of, Jared? Did we fly out of Dulles, or did we? How did we?
What are we talking about?
We about to fly out of DC and we about to go over to Texas. We leaving from Dulles.
Hey, we need to do a discussion on the Dulles brothers.
Yeah,
we should do a discussion on the Dulles brothers, or and their compatriot who headed up the other airport we could fly out of, Reagan National.
Yeah,
who of course died during my wedding.
Yeah.
But I do need to raise up the fact. But I mean, it was, and I was just reminded of it recently that, but our wedding was also presided over Earl Neal, who presided over the funeral for George Jackson. So there's the good part. I should raise up as much as the other, well, that was good too. But anyway, yeah. Anyway.
So look, we got on the Dulles airport. We flew out of DC, and now we in, well, really Virginia, but however you want to do it. We flew out of Virginia, and then we came to Texas. In Texas, this white boy, he recently just beat Jasmine Crockett for office. And then she, obviously support him in trying to win the Democrats, because in his campaign, he did a couple things. He called, one of his staff people called this black opponent, he said he's a mediocre black man. And they went off, right? Like, so he lost a lot of black votes, so he got to pop up at these HBCUs, try to get them votes back, because he's trying to unseat, again, a Republican. So he has a history of unseating Republicans in regions or districts that, shit don't happen. But he's at this space and he says, you know, your disillusionment is your
a superpower. Disillusionment forever.
So I think I got a video of him, like the actual conversation about his disillusionment joint. So let me pull it up. But what did y'all initially saw or respond to when y'all read this white boy over here?
Well, I mean, for him to call it, he's the run-of-the-mill liberal. It's kind of like, I understand what he was trying to say, but again, whoever he got on staff, whoever gave him that line, just doesn't understand. I don't know. And it seems
does
like
he have any black on staff?
I couldn't find him. I saw a not white sister, but not black. But I don't know. It don't look like it.
But there are a lot of black people that think that despair and desperation will spark the revolution. There are people who advocate, you know, they're called accelerationists. There's a whole line of these people who believe that, hey, the more desperate things are, the more deprived people are of the basic means to live a dignified life, that will radicalize people. And people take to the streets. Once people are hungry enough and desperate enough, then they'll join the fight. And they ignore the fact that people in those situations are just as much likely to fall towards right-wing reactionary populism as they are to leftist liberal reformism.
So Diallo, you might like him a little bit because he's against Christian nationalism. So he has that line where he
No, but he's like the guy I said earlier, the good Christian. He's a good German. He's going to show you how to do Christianity the right way. And like I said, if not for these good, humane, turn the other cheek, Jesus is love Christians, the Christian fanatics would have no foundation to stand on.
So I'm gonna hit play a little bit and then hear from this guy.
Has left your generation disillusioned. Disillusionment has a bad reputation, but being disillusioned means being freed from illusions, to see reality, to know the truth. As painful as it may be, your disillusionment is a superpower. You can see the world as it is and dream of the way it ought to be.
See it as it is.
Listen to the poetry of Langston Hughes. I am so tired of waiting, aren't you, for the world to become good and beautiful and kind. Let us take a knife and cut the world in two to see what worms are eating at the rind.
Go ahead, man.
Has just out of curiosity, I'm not really a fan or in these spaces, but has any black person written a poem in the last 60 years? I'm just curious.
Langston Hughes was good, though. He was good. He was really good.
No doubt. But I mean, it's just, has anybody else said anything? Or is it just, I just go to Langston Hughes?
I don't know. I think June Jordan just dropped something earlier. Yeah.
I would now. I would now. Hey, if he had started citing June Jordan, I'd have been impressed.
I don't know if he's written anything that can be said by a white liberal in a Christian cloak in a black church. I don't know if he's written anything that really speaks to that situation. It's just like you. Y'all need to start writing shit that they can run with.
Is this because of my association with the two of you? But I have to say, speaking of Saul Williams, the legend, he follows me on Instagram.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and like stuff that I post from time to time. Yeah. I was super impressed when I saw that.
Do y'all feel like, and we're gonna go back to the topic, but do y'all feel
I blame slam poetry for being absolutely sick of poetry. Yeah,
I can't never. I met my wife at a slam poet. I met my wife at a poetry reading. So
I got an honest question.
As much as I'm tempted to, I can never diss the poetry scene.
Do y'all feel at some point slam poetry tried to take hip hop back to like lyricism?
No. Where you get that from?
Russell Simmons just found another thing that he could scam and promote and take advantage of.
But can I say something? It was actually his brother that started the deaf poetry. I went to the very first deaf poetry performance at the Brooklyn Museum, and it was wonderful. When he saw that because he got a hippie brother, barefoot outside on the concrete type dreadlock brother. The lesser known Simmons brother is 3 of them. And he did an actual really good.
I never heard of this dude. This is the first I've ever heard. This lesser
Look
Simmons.
Yeah, we got a hippie Simmons.
Hippie Simmons.
Slam.
So we got a preacher, an abuser, and a tree hugger.
And we got a good one good one. Seriously. That's why. And we need to lift him up on our shoulders.
Allegedly. I don't want Russell
Danny Simmons. Oh, he cut his dreads. Yeah. The hippie Simmons. And he curated. We need to give him his flowers. But as soon as I say that, somebody gonna come out with some dirt he done did. You can't have nothing. We can't have this about black people. Oh, you talking about that? Danny Simmons. But anyway, look, I was gonna pull it up, but
he probably performed in Israel.
Yeah, so I know he did something because as soon as I say anything,
he read his poetry.
But this is him. He's the one that started the poetry thing, and his brother came in and took it over.
Can y'all not say that they started or controlled slam poetry? Could be a genre of poetry that people from the streets could be doing, and they could take. I'm saying
Russell. That's what I'm saying. Russell did the same thing to that he did to hip hop.
Gotcha.
But he didn't start it. Danny Simmons started. I used to see Danny Simmons walking barefoot on Eastern Parkway, filthy car, the bottom of his foot.
Okay, I'll give y'all a better clip. I'm gonna give y'all a class analysis. Here you go. He came with a class analysis.
Generated by love. The most effective social movements, the civil rights movement, the labor movement, the farm workers movement, grew from spiritual roots. Freedom riders sang, organized, prayed. Faith leads us to service, and then service leads us back to faith. Dr. Sorrell talked about the importance of prayer in sustaining his work. Then he said, I get up off my knees and start swinging. We all need to start swinging against the injustices surrounding us. A few weeks ago, an Amazon worker died while working in one of Amazon's warehouses. And as he lay on the floor dying, management told the other workers, just turn around and don't look. Get back to work. Get back to work. That was a human being. That was a child of God. That was our sibling. Sacrifice.
That's Diallo eating in the mic, by the way, everybody. That's not me.
Oh, sorry.
Don't conform to this world. It is not healthy to assimilate in a sick system. I know we're here at your college, but I'm asking you to question everything you've been told at school or at work or at church, and certainly anything you hear from a politician.
Including this nigga.
Reject anything that makes you less human.
So,
let me tell you something. This boy, hey, you better buy his rookie card now. He got them Obama ears. He got that Obama cadence. He got that Obama just skidding up onto a radical. Now, listen, this is Ofe Obama. That's my new name for him. Ofe Bomber. This motherfucker's going places. Don't count him out, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. I called it here. May 3rd, 26. I called it. This motherfucker's going places. Ofe Bomber.
I'm not mad at that. Opie Bomber. That's also good. That's also
Opie
good.
Bomber. One of them, because he got it. He got
Opie Ofe. Yeah.
Listen to his cadence. Tell me that's not the Obama cadence.
No, he looked like he was smooth. He was, he looked comfortable.
Mm-hmm. He
had
was
his little
brother.
lines. Yeah.
Yeah, Ofe Bomber going places. He's about to, he's about to be the Democrats' new boy.
Real quick. Oh, okay, you back. Okay, I was gonna. So can I just show you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who? This is that. Now I can't even remember the story. Who?
You going all the way? You checking it all the way back?
But I just saw that I had the tab still open.
These are the people funding Ibrahim to put the $3 million up.
Yeah, that's right. This is the crew that is funding this Carter G. Woodson.
Mad sisters there. Yeah. That's all you say. Look at the pictures. Look away. That's it. We saw what we need to see. I see enough brown faces. Let's move on.
So that's fascinating. The Stoopsky Foundation. Oh my!
They got a picture of everybody except for Mr. Stoopsky.
Anyway, all right, that was it.
So
where Mr. Scoopy is.
I want to spend a little bit of time for y'all to talk to students that's currently on the campus, that campus or any other campus, right? So obviously you can see the faculty or whoever, they're capitulating to the Democratic Party. They're trying to make sure the Democrats win for whatever reason. Jasmine is already sat down. They like Jasmine, but Jasmine lost to the white boy. The white boy could probably flip some red regions, right? And so your faculty is playing politics, right? And what could or should, especially given this situation, could the students do in this situation? Obviously, I don't know, maybe PSL and other groups, but what would y'all advise them to do in a situation like that? Like, what could they do? What's possible?
You mean when he's coming there to speak to them, to the campus?
Yeah, he's there to speak on campus. Like, again, y'all know what politically happened here, and they just, because I don't know if this one, we're going to see in South Carolina where students push back. I don't really know if and this is Paul Quinn College, by the way. I'm sorry if I didn't share that. But yeah, I don't know if there was like opposition to what he was saying or him being there or whatever, but I'm sure there are some students on the campus kind of like, they're calling out the shit that we calling out right now. I'm pretty sure they can say that too. So maybe speaking to kind of those students, like what should they be doing? Or could they be doing?
Register and vote for him. That's what I tell them to do. Register and vote for Ofe Bomber.
I at this point, if I was just thinking, if we were talking about, so for instance, when something similar happens at Morgan State, I'll just be honest. All that I ever advocate is that folks pay attention. I actually encourage them to go pay attention, and then have teach-ins and produce journalism pieces or some other form of propaganda that raises the contradictions that need to be raised. I don't advocate that they become disruptive. If for no other reason, I don't see that being having any meaningful impact on the campus. And the handful of times it does happen on the campus, they just get. It's not large. The groups are very small, and then the students just get picked off and punished, expelled, have their finances taken, and so on and so forth. So That's my 2 cents. I but because I do encourage them to go, not be disruptive, and pay attention, because I think, listen and see what is being said and what's not being said. But yeah.
So
that's it.
I don't know if when you said that, I don't know if you would say that. So basically in South Carolina State, like we had to go back to, we got back on the airport. I told the plane to stop in Charleston real quick. I had to go talk to my grandma. And then we came up 26. We let Diallo drive, because anytime we go to, we let Diallo rent cars. And we drove all the way up 26 from Charleston to Orangeburg, South Carolina State. They were protesting because they didn't want that white lady to come. They were protesting for days on days and days. And then I think, again, this is a political game. Like just as well as the Democrats trying to do some politics shit in Texas, the Republicans trying to do some politics shit in South Carolina. But the students was like, nah, bro, boom, boom, we don't. And again, now I'm not saying that those students, because it's SGA, so those students might not be doing this out of political loyalty to the left. They might be doing it out of the Democrat loyalty. I don't know. But when you say don't be disruptors for the students on the left, do you feel like something like what they did to protest and push the issue and get her out of there? Now, since they have pushed this Republican not coming, there's a bunch of Republicans, 9 of them in South Carolina, saying, you know what, them niggas shouldn't even get funded next year. And so now they're trying to pull state funding from South Carolina State because they don't let this lady come. So I'm sure, I'm curious if you, that line of disruption, is that disrupting? And Diallo or Jerry can respond, but yeah.
Like I said, anytime you're talking about protesting someone, I need to know what specifically are you in opposition to, and what is the resolve you're seeking. That's always my position. So, if a Nazi was coming to speak at your school, I would say you got to get there and go at that Nazi. If it's some liberal status quo Democrat coming and you were like, I'm just going to take the class time off to catch up on some reading or finish off a paper, I wouldn't condemn you. Shit is especially in Texas, man, under Greg Abbott, they got full-fledged theocratic fascist and they're disenfranchising Black folks. So bigger fish to fry and prioritization. I do think when there's a severe crisis, like somebody has a multitude of ailments, you do have to triage and put your energy where you think you will have the largest return. So in some instances, I'm like, oh, you should be obligated to go to that opposition or rally against an opposition. Other times you'd be like, yeah, this is just some status quo bullshit that, is neither here nor there ultimately.
Yeah, I largely agree. And I mean, and I should be a little more clear. Part of my current reaction is also born out of my protracted struggle with my own institution and feeling defeated by it. So I encourage people to take my comments with that grain of salt and context in mind. If there's not a sustained form of organization, a clarity of goals that can be achieved concretely, then most of what students end up doing is reduced to something that's largely performative, leads to nothing, and as I've said, just leads to individuals getting punished and the administration going on and the institution going on and nothing really changing. And if anything, using that as a way to justify its own claims on a given situation. So I again, to Diallo's point, I agree. It depends on who exactly is being invited and for what exact purpose. So, for instance, when Candace Owens was doing that HBCU tour, And I know they went to Bowie. They didn't go to Morgan, so they didn't go to my campus, but they went to one in an HBCU, our sister HBC, one of our sister HBCUs here in Maryland. My advice to the students was, and would have been, because it came up in discussion, that their form of protest be not to go. That was one of the few times I did encourage that they not go and pay any attention and do anything like that. But that's about as aggressive as I've encouraged. And one little other part of it too, I have to say, is that these younger generations are snitches. So if you sit up there, the faculty member saying something, these snitching ass kids, no, I'm just playing.
Yeah,
but the students, no, I'm just playing. But the student, but what I will say is that the students they are invited. I don't think it's a generational thing. I think it's an institutional thing. Students are invited to report on faculty in given situations and have that work against faculty. And it is also
rate my professor shit though. It's actually rate my professor shit is less controlled, or is that still connected to how
rate my professor is it's really, my experience is less of an issue than student evaluations. So if and I watched this happen as a former acting provost, before even speaking and greeting me in our meeting, read my file and then said, "Oh, your students like you," and then proceeded to try to find another way to get rid of me. So wow. That, like that's their first line of especially if you're tenured, the first thing that they start going for if the students start complaining. Yeah. So and administrators my administration has increasingly encouraged students to speak directly to them, circumventing all forms of chains of command. In part because I think this is the goal. They want students to feel empowered to show up and be like, Dr. Ball is talking crazy, and then they can start using that as the thread to pull to get rid of you. So I do keep that in mind. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off, Gigi, but I just want to be clear when I'm saying what I'm saying. I want our audience to be clear what levels of grains of salt that they should throw on my responses here.
Yeah, Derek, do you know Dr. Sam Livingston here in Morehouse?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So we talk often, and again, me and you talk. You know some of this, but other academics, and I'm sure they tell you this, like they see you and they see how you are moving and how you like are adjusting to constraints that an institution gives, and they like your effectiveness of, again, like you, because even with Ibram Kendi, they got the 50 million, and even inside critique was like, not only structurally was it all about him, them niggas only produced 2 things, and it wasn't even legit. Like it was either not enough or not original enough. So it's like they ain't doing nothing. They're not even doing nothing over there. But you don't have to do 17 books. And then some of my people we joke about this, like, damn, nigga, book is this big. It's this big. Like, you can read the book, read it fast. But they could produce many of books or not. And as Diallo was saying, some of it never reached the students. But like, you are kind of doing both of them. Like you know what I mean? And so I think the utility of like trying to respond to the Texas thing, the Howard thing, right? The South Carolina State thing. We would have to, if we can't take over the institution, then we have to do something. Like, there's something that we have to do. And as you said, like the organizing of it, like it has to be organized. Like, people got to talk to people. So, maybe you are able to organize your homeboys. And I know Diallo said bring him on the team, but maybe Diallo might be in your department, and then Dr. Mango and Diallo come in your department, and y'all might have a chance to, I don't know, wheel something with that department.
So I understand your point at that last part. I'm in no position at this point. I couldn't make that happen anymore. And when I was in position, man, one day I will tell this whole story in some form or fashion. But we had a situation where, with my influence and at the time a good relationship with the chair, we had Dr. Burroughs, we had Dr. Bolden affiliated elsewhere on the campus, we had Diedrich Muhammad downstairs, we had what's my man's name? Now I'm drawing a blank, but our other homeboy, he changed his name, but our other homeboy was there. We were, and then we were right at the point where I had gotten tenure, had some seniority, and I thought we were at the cusp of being able to do just that. And new management came in and obliterated the whole thing. And it was I feel like the downfall is still happening. But so it's these things can and do happen in certain circumstances, but there are still incredible institutional limitations imposed on what those people can do and those individuals can do and those small collectives can do. So that's why I keep saying, like, in terms of HBCU or any other faculty, I think, again, we're working within hostile institutions, individually in the classroom and small collectives here and there. I think you can do some good work and be some form of intervention. But I don't think that I don't think that they are the sites of struggle that people sometimes are encouraged to think of them as being. Exactly. We have to move elsewhere for those.
Right. Even if we look historically, even the movements that we attribute to universities, college movements spilled out into the street. Yeah. Even if they
spilled in from the street.
Spill in from the street. It's always my position, just practically. The floor is you make a positive contributions to the just aspirations. And that's very wide, what you can do. And it allows each individual to assess what level of risk or consequences they're willing to confront. And then as everyone who is committed to making a positive contribution, and then something that we could borrow as people in various stages and function in the movement is basically non-obstruction and non-compete. So if somebody's doing something at a higher or lower level, if it's deemed a positive contribution to our just aspirations, we won't obstruct them if we're not prepared to or willing or have the resources or the ability to contribute to it. We can always get the hell out of the way. So I think our movement needs to be more dynamic and not for any other reasons to increase participation, but it also gives you greater resilience. It's much harder to decapitate a multi-headed beast. So I think in terms of what we remember, these mass organizations, I'm all in part of, but what's more important than the mass organization is the ideology and the objectives. And so you have people trying to call for mass organization, and everybody that's there has a different interpretation of what is to be done or why we're doing it. Mm-hmm. So first, it's the ideology and mission. And then the methodology, strategy, tactics, resources, skills can be applied and dispersed. Because this capitalism and white hegemony has inundated all areas of human relations, even our intimate interpersonal relationships. Because you were talking about Megan Thee Stallion. Geechee, you would reach out to me and you would mention Megan Thee Stallion and you were cheering on and celebrating Klay Thompson's getting out from under her spell. And so even you look at how the community is responding to that.
It still work? Yep. The pause button still work. When niggas got lying, I'ma just start hitting pause.
What you didn't mention Megan to me?
You want me to pull a chat up?
No, I was just referencing it to make my point that we in the movement need to be more dynamic.
I know it's been some years, some months, but you gotta watch your tongue, man.
What I was saying, just how that has touches on capitalism, class, hierarchy, not just the obvious parts of misogyny and sexism, but how this system has inundated every aspect of our reality, and we have to restructure movements. Many times we're trying to still organize and structure our shit the way we did in the 60s, and not learning from the 60s, not just learning, but replicating the 60s and 50s. And doing that is leading us back, the regression. You know, we're not even able to hold on to the meager concessions that the civil rights movement secured for us, let alone advance on what the Black radicals were trying to accomplish.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie, man. Ever since I read a Hubert Harrison book, I was like, damn, I was just really trying to, and I know you watch movies and documentaries and you try to recreate, but I really just wanted to experience what that little conflict was like. You know, he's saying, you know, we doing race first, and then but we ain't taking money from white people, and then his shit fall. He leave the white left because, you know, they won't, you know, do the race and other stuff. But then it came a point where he was already beefing with Garvey. He was telling, you know, Garvey just plastered in the air with lies, and he's a little short, stumpy man. Like he beefed with Garvey, but then there's a new canon of Black left people coming, and they fucking Garvey up with class analysis, all other stuff. And they saying this is why you got to abandon race first. And Hubert Harrison had the right of defense on the race first politic while still disagreeing with this clown. Well, I'm sorry. This is how you referring to him. And yeah, I'm just like, when I'm leading political education studies, I'm always trying to like imagine that and then like try to apply it to like, what would that be like now today with the organizations that we are dealing with or whatever. And yeah, that like, I would argue that we might be replaying the 20s too. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, people love to tell me Garvey was a Christian and a capitalist. So how can I claim to be a Garveyite? You know. So yes, you're so right.
Yeah, but
you're so right.
So I know we're not running up on time, but we said
what is the time? What is the time?
I don't know. We how much time we got?
We're over 2 hours. I don't know if we put an official time on it. So
I don't think we did. We might have to.
So we should cancel. We should cancel 2 of these and do one more.
Okay.
You got Boyce. We got the expert racisms. Glad
I didn't watch The Boyce because I figured if you had clips, it wouldn't be difficult to catch up. He says the same shit.
I ain't watched The Boyce. Let's pick Boyce out. Boyce, you got lucky. So,
yeah.
And I will say, because if any of the folks who send me stuff happen to see this show, please, if at all possible, be specific and have timestamps. Because at this point, I don't want to sound crazy, but I get way too much to keep up, and if you don't send me something specific and I just get a link to a YouTube channel, I'm less likely to watch it.
That's some wild shit.
And especially when I see his voice, I'm like, it's like an hour and a half video. I'm like, I'm supposed to just watch this shit for 90 minutes. Can you be more specific, please?
So we can either go to SCOTUS trying to act like voting is right, or Kendi.
I did watch this discussion. If you all have something to say on this, I would very much like to talk about this.
Okay, let's go there.
Kendi again, Ibrahim.
We don't have to, but I mean, I just watched the discussion, so I felt like.
How about we get both? How about let's do this one, and then we'll end with the response of Kendi. So we just got.
What could be said?
You tell us.
I told you niggas to vote, and now they done took it. It's tooken. But, you know, the point I want to speak about on that issue, though, there has a significant faction of the Black masses who have been advocating for decades that the civil rights movement and integration destroyed the Black community. Feminism, integration, Voting Rights Act, that destroyed. And we had strong Black community and strong Black businesses before integration, right? We had strong families before women had the women's rights movement. And now that all that shit that many Black reactionaries, from Farrakhan to Dr. Fubar to the Irritated Bowels, all them Black militant individuals who have been decrying the liberal integrationist reforms, now we are literally regressing back to Jim Crow status. And I don't see them doing a victory lap. I don't see them celebrating women losing it. And they just passed another thing where they banned the international commerce of the Plan B, or the quote unquote abortion pill. Black women have been some of the highest populations of unemployed under the DEI and the Doge reform. So Black women are being forced out of professions, forced out of work, forced into labor. Now we don't have to trip off of voting. We're strolling to the polls. So where are all these people who said that the civil rights movement and the liberal reforms were such a tragedy for Black people? So now we're going to have our own bus lines, our own Black theaters, and what else Black shit they said we lost. we about to get all that shit back now that all these liberal reforms. Because I've never advocated for a retraction of the liberal reforms. I always said we got to go beyond that. They're inadequate. But, you know, so that's one thing I try to look up and revisit, and they're awfully silent. They're awfully silent. Now, where are all these Black people who for years are like, oh, vote, fuck the vote. Vote ain't gonna change nothing. No check, no vote. Why aren't they out saying, hey, yeah, we don't even trip? Even Cuddly Mike is going the other way. We can't even call it Cuddly Mike anymore. I really resent him taking his health into account and losing that weight.
Yeah, man, he's getting in shape.
Fit.
So
yeah, the name don't fit no more.
So tell me this. So this thing right here says, in the wake of the Supreme Court ruling to narrow a core provision of the Voting Rights Act, voting and civil rights advocates in southern states are rallying to attempt to protest the electoral power of racial minority groups. The conservative majority court overturned Louisiana's electoral map in a 6-3 ruling along ideological lines on Wednesday, finding that redrawing the state's voting lines to add a second Black majority district constitute an unconstitutional racial gerrymandering. And so, again, this thing has a political or social context. But if the conservative majority is a majority,
6-3,
right? Mm-hmm. And the conservative has out-organized the liberals.
They haven't.
Or whatever the reason is.
This didn't come by organization. This came by theft and corruption.
Theft is organized. Okay.
I tend to have a positive connotation when you talk about organizing.
Well, we should, but that's not reality. Like, so.
Okay. Yeah. Then I give you that. They have out corrupted, out stole, out robbed.
So, but what if?
So if somebody pull up on you and take your wallet, and like, man, this brother really got it together. I need to step my game up.
Well, or there's a social order that organizes society that allows for that just thing to be. So it's still that society still was organized. Somebody organized that society through the propaganda, the whatever. But what I'm saying,
so you would be like this brother. He got it together. I need to step my game up.
No.
If somebody pull up a gun and rob you, will you say he has competed, out organized?
That's two different conversations, Diallo. That's two different conversations.
So they stole the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
They stole the Supreme Court.
Yeah. So what are we saying to people, right, in those areas, or people, or Black people in general? What are we saying about how we should engage in electoral endeavors as a radical, as an organizer, as a whatever? Like, because again, I don't think you say, well, see, we, like you joked earlier, you said, see what we did the wrong thing. What should be happening in the electoral arena, with the electoral arena, as it relates to the radical organizing and organizations and all this other stuff?
I think that in this era, I think, and I know y'all about to jump on me, but the left needs to get behind the ouster of the MAGA theocrat fascist and their investigation and prosecution. And I think that should be in the political arena the goal of the left. And unfortunately, the left might have to sully themselves to ally or strategize with liberals and progressives in order to accomplish that goal, because there is an immediate crisis. So to stop the regression and the bleeding, if I was king of the left and I could just tell people what to do and they just move as I instruct them to do.
And you would call that a harm reduction strategy?
Yeah, I am a big proponent of harm reduction. I will advocate for food stamps at the same time I organize and work towards the dismantling of the state and capitalism. I don't think those are mutually exclusive things to do.
Jared, what you got?
So first, I want to say that before we wrap up today, and before people start to file out at some point, that I wanted to salute the three of us and Skip for demonstrating principled reconciliation. I would like to thank the audience for showing up today
and showing out,
for those who and showing out, of course, and to the continued engagement as we make this second season run. So just make sure everybody is signed up.
The generous contributors.
Well, that was what I was going to say. Is that I was going to. I thought, I was going to say that I wanted us to make sure we took time to go through those before we left.
Oh yeah.
But if this counts, then I guess that's that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. However we want to do it.
Run through
but so again, full disclosure, well, I guess kind of pun intended, relatively speaking, because I'm saying full disclosure to say that the answer that I really truly believe is the answer is not one that I think I can say on YouTube or live. As it pertains to electoral politics, I do
sharing a cell with James Comey.
I mean,
fighting with James Comey over the bump.
both of y'all come from Howard and don't like.
but I think But I think as much as I can appreciate what Diallo you just said, I still think that in terms of electoral politics, the point should still be to organize for how we would actually want to use the vote. So I still think we should be abandoning these two parties and evolving other forms of, at least at minimum, engaging these two parties. Or developing some alternative or building on, within an already existing alternative.
I agree. I just would like to have a lifeboat to jump into if I'm going to abandon the party. I want a buoyant lifeboat.
I mean,
that's all.
So
I'm ready to jump ship. Every time there is a suitable life raft, I'm jump ship. But only then.
So again, I hear Jared saying,
but I just quickly, I just don't think we can build that without abandoning it first. Like, I think we got to jump first.
And listen, I'm black. I can't swim, man. My swim game is not that strong.
That's what Baba Takan.
You want me to just tread?
But I hear.
So I will be voting again for Brandon Johnson and when the next election come through.
So there's a particular.
So, but again, but this goes.
That's different than what Diallo's making.
Well,
so like so organizations structured as a party or working in some type, developing the part, whatever, and then Diallo sounds like this is like this a bunch of those different bunch of all these things, but some type of synchronicitous ideological something, but not so much, not so big on the structures. That's what it sounds like Diallo's saying.
Yeah. My mantra is co-distant and calculating. I don't invest. I don't ask anything of the state that the state is not capable of giving or I'm not capable of extracting. But for the few things that I am capable of securing, extracting, or forcing from the state, I'm all for getting it. And anything that the state cannot provide us, we have to go beyond the state, above, over, or through the state to secure.
How can you do that without an intentional, organized thing?
You can't.
Okay.
And I never suggest that we do.
So in developing an organized thing, that thing sounds like it will be a party.
Yes. And if I went to a meeting and, organizing against the state and somebody's at that meeting on the table was some grilled government cheese sandwiches, then eat the government cheese sandwiches as you plot against the government. I don't think, I am secular. I'm not for martyrdom. I'm not for needless suffering or suffering to make a point.
So you want to pull DSA left?
No. Some things I don't think can be made leftist or can be converted to leftist.
What you want to do with DSA and Brandon and them? Listen,
when I came to Chicago, the first organic community garden that I organized and built was on land controlled by a private Jesuit. The Jesuit religious community owned this land and they made it available to cultivate. And I'm like, you religious fanatics, you think I'm not going to cultivate this land? So I'm the mission.
Yes,
the plan. So cold, distant, and calculating.
This is something that I remember from season 1 that I've largely agreed with Diallo on. My only concern is that the level of nuance and sophistication to the application of the vote and the specificity of each race in application of the vote that Diallo is encouraging, that's not what ends up happening. It just becomes a broad support the Democrats without question or support an alternative without question.
That's so true. Yeah.
And so if we could have an organized, radically centered discussion around what Diallo is talking about, and I've heard others make similar cases, I'm fine with that. But it's rare that we get there. So because I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Here, there's this bill has, this legislation has, or this amendment has been defeated 3 times in moving Chicago and Illinois from a flat tax to a progressive tax. It's coming up a 3rd time. I campaign, advocate, and push for a move to the progressive tax to relieve the tax burden so fewer Black people will lose their houses. and fewer elderly fixed income people who all they have is their houses will be less likely to lose their house. I fight for that. I know that's not going to liberate no damn body. It's not going to stop the destruction or collapse of the planetary ecosystem, but I think it's a valid fight. Or fighting for more affordable insulin. I'm not diabetic, but I want insulin to be free. But on the path to for-profit healthcare, to subsidizing insulin, to universal healthcare, I'm willing to advocate for that. If for no other reason, to tell the people I understand and acknowledge how you suffer. I want you to be more radical, but I want you to be alive long enough and housed enough so I can work on radicalizing you.
Right. As a harm reduction endeavor, but even and this is back to the Ibram Kendi critique that the lady gave him. Like, he's running an anti-racist campaign, and the anti-racist movement is going to take us into liberation.
He's not running anti-racist. He's trying to humanize and reform racists. That's not the same as being anti-racist. His functional role in society is to run the he's the face for anti-racist thing. What I'm saying is
he's the gay choir director for capitalism.
Yeah. How about that? But listen, listen, really. But even though, because he belongs there. Let me land the plane. It's not really. Listen, stop trying to shoot my shit down. Let me land the plane. Let me land it. Listen, Kendi, when they asked him to leave from Boston, not only did he produce nothing, but they said the way in which he ran the anti-racist movement or that thing, one person can't do it there at Boston. And it's just him. It's centered around him. When you say harm reduction, even the harm reduction strategy will make sense to be organizationally structured to actually achieve the objectives of the harm reduction. It'll be a scientific.
I agree. Yes.
So what's the radical revolutionary harm reductionist organization?
There's no such thing as radical revolutionary harm reduction.
Oh, well,
harm reduction, that's like saying liberation theology. It doesn't exist. Revolution.
That's foul.
I said it because you said you're doing one to get to the other.
No, I did not say that. I said one, they're not mutually exclusive. Yeah, I said I'm willing to advocate for that, but
ultimately want the other one. You ultimately want.
I don't think that you have to do harm reduction in order to advocate or enact revolution. But I think that it is a valid thing to do, and they're not mutually exclusive. I will not say, well, if you're voting, so you're not a revolutionary. You can do voting and revolution, but you're not voting for revolution. Revolution will never be on any ballot in any established hierarchical power structure. You will never be able to vote for revolution, but you can vote for progressive taxation. Progressive taxation is not revolution. It will not liberate anyone. They give out scholarships. So that's why revolutionaries, and many times the state will make these concessions in order to pacify people. And once people are sufficiently pacified, they take them back. So even though we say, hey, remember when you were out there fighting for food, I was with you because I care about you. I was out there with you fighting for the food and fighting for the goddamn turkey. But as soon as y'all ended the movement, they took the turkeys away. So we can use that as the contradictions of the state, the manipulations of the state, the true goal of the state. But the people can't say, well, the revolutionaries, it's like I say all the time, we cannot be like the religious people. Suffer now and your reward is in heaven. And we can't be like, suffer now, your reward is after the revolution. So we can be embedded in the community, working to get people dealing with their more immediate needs as we work towards a grander goal. I don't understand why we think we should ignore more immediate, pedestrian, less glamorous things while we work towards a grand goal. And in fact, working towards the more immediate needs will help give us the connections, the experience, the skills in order to achieve the grand goals. So I know that doing an organic community garden is not going to upend industrial food production. But the cooperation, the love, the presence in the community will help me organize and enlighten enough people to move towards that grander goal of bringing down industrial food production and corporate and capitalist control over how we sustain ourselves and secure sustenance. So I think we are fighting where there's no need to fight. And if somebody comes to me and says, I'm voting because I want housing, I'll say, fine. If they're saying I'm voting because I want freedom, oh, this is where we get freedom, that's when the fight comes. So we acknowledge as revolutionaries who understand the system has no legitimacy. We understand that there are resources and things that the state can do. And we need to explain to the people what the state can do, what can be secured from the state. And we also can articulate why we should still oppose the state and how a revolutionary relationships and diminishment and destruction of hierarchies can better meet those needs. I don't even understand why this is such an ongoing conflict between the reformists and the revolutionaries.
I think sometimes like people, when they're in the argument, they're having two different arguments. So for instance, if Lorick says that I knock on the door and canvass for voter registration, specifically for the amendments that I told my people to vote for Kamala, to not vote for Kamala.
Not.
Right. But then I asked, what policies does Kamala have for Black people? She had none other than crypto and Pell grants. So it wasn't hard to tell. But really quickly, here we go. So in this place, he says Kamala is her policies are of no value. And Diallo, are you saying, yeah, her politics have no value, but between her and this person who about to win, his is even worse? So
absolutely, it's obvious.
So
Trump is much worse than Kamala.
What I'm saying is, there's two different people having two different conversations. So if he says like just don't vote for her, then they go like, who vote for her? And then then the conversation about what do you call it? What August Nips keeps saying? Lesser evilisms and stuff. Like, I think these conversations, they all go back circular, and I'm just not sure that everybody having the same argument.
Listen, it is my policy not to conflict, attack, or try to reduce anybody that is attacking the Democrats from the left. I only go at people attacking the Democrats from the right or the center. If you are for the or to the left of the Democrats, I'm with you. Even if I don't agree with your strategy. Even if I think that you're neglecting short-term issues for a long-term goal, I think that's a valid strategy, especially when in this hyper multitude of crises. So if you are advocating, pushing, and working to the left of the Democrats in the political arena, I have no beef with you. Even if I have a divergent strategy or a more immediate strategy as opposed to a long-term strategy, I respect. What did Q-Tip say? I respect you crazily. I respect the shit out of you. But the problem is, a lot of times these people who are working to the left of the Democrats allow themselves to be sullied by centrist and right wingers who are also anti-Democrat. And I don't think they do enough to draw that distinction. Particularly, what's that? Ford's group.
So
Glenn Ford's group.
Oh, Black Agenda Report. Yeah.
What are you saying about what?
A lot of leftists who attack the Democrats get tied into or begin to resonate with right wingers who oppose Democrats. So I think there needs to, it's kind of like anti-Zionists and anti-Semites. And there are a lot of anti-Zionists who do not make a good effort of distinguishing themselves from anti-Semites.
So you think Glenn Ford and Black Agenda did not make
Black Agenda report
to distinguish themselves from
during Trump's first term? Yeah, during Obama's term. Yeah, to me, I don't think so. To me, they said a lot of things that could be interpreted as advocating or pushing for the right in opposition to the liberal right and going to the conservative right or the reactionary right.
Well, I 1,000% disagree with that. And I was a part of that crew, so I would love it if you want to do a revisit.
I'll have to go back
Black
and dig
Agenda
it up.
report, and I would love to see the. Now, what I do remember is that a lot of people who wanted to support Obama gave Glenn, Bruce, Margaret, and to a lesser extent myself a lot of grief. But I don't remember any of the criticism going too far not from my vantage point, obviously, and clearly I'm biased. But I thought, if anything, it wasn't enough. And in fact, with this being the 20th anniversary, Diallo was a liberal troll.
Yeah. Every time we go on this topic.
No, but Diallo, I really think even the way you make the statement, it sounds like you're reading your opinion as something that you can verify, and I don't think you'll have a really hard time.
Well, yeah, I know. I thought I said it was my opinion. I thought I said I thought that I feel that a lot of leftist people who are in opposition to the Democratic establishment don't do a good enough job distinguishing themselves from the right wing. Because
I just don't think Glenn fit that category.
I didn't say Glenn. I said Glenn's organization. I'm sorry. I think some voices coming out of that bar did that. Not Glenn himself. I don't have any evidence that Glenn was always very clear.
And you're trying to say
not Bruce? To you because it's happened to me before.
So you saying me?
You saying Bruce?
I didn't say you.
You saying Bruce?
It's been quite some time. It's like Jared said, I'll have to go revisit, but I remember reading some stuff coming out of them during the Obama administration and the transition from Obama to Trump that I'm like, I think that they could do better because they are giving some fuel to right wingers. And because a lot of times right wingers, it's even happened to me. And my critique of liberals and liberalism, right wingers, like when I was saying black, I had this thing on I think it was when I was talking about Black History Month, and I said why I celebrate White History Month, and I think we need a White History Month. And my point was white people are much more ignorant of their history and the facts related to. They have much more delusions about their history, and they're much more miseducated about history than black people are. And a lot of when people just saw the headline, there's a black man who opposes black history and advocates white history. I had right wingers trying to push that narrative.
So Diallo, that's good.
And
right?
I shut that shit down immediately.
Diallo, look what you're doing there. You saying
and the same thing when I said white privilege is a myth. And when I was saying white privilege was a myth, I was getting invited on all these right-wing podcasts and shit.
Did you realize you just did that though? Like, did you just realize what you do? Like you said
I never know what I'm doing, man. I'm sorry.
You said that because your critique don't make sense now. Your critique makes no sense now.
Okay.
Because you said something, you had the right analysis, and you said white people need to learn their history. And somebody editorialized your thing, and they use it for right-wing thing. Like, look, this black man said, you're not arguing with your analysis, though. Your analysis is pure. You titled it wrong.
I agree. So what I'm saying is when that happens,
that's not how your critique sounds just now. Your critique sound like, nah, them niggas over there. Like you ain't saying, oh, they could have been misinterpreted.
I ain't said that. You putting words in my mouth.
We gonna rewind this motherfucker. That's what I heard. You're right. You said that's what I heard. Jared, did you hear something different?
Honestly, I don't know. I think I lost track.
Low blood sugar.
Yeah, I've run out of gas, and then but Diallo, I mean, it's just a lot of hopping and skipping around. So I just don't know.
That's what, man, y'all go past 2 hours. You get what you get.
It just starts getting blurry.
So he high under his shirt. he said, well, me. Can't touch this. Keep still.
Oh man. Listen, wait, real quick. Okay, before we get out of here, I do need to because now while we were on the call or on the show, I committed to hosting these two. So now people really got to show up. Now it's really serious. All the other promotion I've been doing for this incredible film has been bullshit. Now that I'm hosting Baltimore and DC's events, people, you have got to show up. You cannot leave me hanging out there looking crazy like that. So in all seriousness, please scan the QR code.
Take that thing. Hold on, you gotta take that thing off the thing.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
right.
I got
the
it.
Logo. Okay, thank you. Please scan the QR code for this. It's really an amazing film. It's called Crushing Wheelchairs. If you haven't heard me talk about it already, or if you're not already familiar, it's made by the houseless, about houselessness, a real people's film, very well made, very well situated politically, and they're touring it on the East Coast. These are the dates. The QR code takes you to a well set up link tree so you can get more information about the film, the locations, all of that. And if you are able to in Baltimore or DC, May 11th and 12th, please come on out. And obviously, if you're in any of these other locations, Boston, Northampton, New York City, Poughkeepsie, Philly.
You're in North East Coast.
What'd I say?
You say East Coast, but they ain't coming down south?
The East Coast stops at DC. After that, it's the South. So,
now, Skip said Atlanta ain't the South.
Listen, time out. The mute button work both ways, brother. Like, what is he talking about? What the fuck is East Coast stop? What kind of Mason Dixon shit is that, bro? Damn, bro.
Oh yeah, we haven't really gotten into the Northeast bias that I have. That's a fact.
No, I said, can you put me in touch with the people? I need them in Atlanta, bro. What's happening? Who that?
Yeah, I can actually, and that's in fact. Yeah, I will. I will absolutely do that. So folks, please come out and see Crushing Wheelchairs. Thank you very much, and I will put you in touch, Ichi. And the film is really inspirational. I mean, in terms of what people can do when they don't have millions of dollars in a Hollywood studio behind them. So please check that out. And thank you all very much. And that's all I got for today, fellas. Unless
Nah, it's a wrap.
Nah.
All right.
Yeah, we
back on.
So next week, everybody will be back again, right?
Yeah.
Same time, same channel. And
I'm proud of Diallo. He kept his word. We changed the sheet to run instead of run to fight sheet. That man did all his homework.
He did his homework.
Not that shit you sent that Buddhism.
You know what it is? Diallo, the boyfriend who get you back. And the first day he got you back, he gonna do everything he need to do. But next week,
go back to
my bad. I did have it here. You were saying this is what you wanted to say after I made my East Coast comment.
The fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, the East Coast, man, that's the best place in this wretched country.
He said, everybody saying we trying to make EYL 100. We can get, wait, how many? Wait,
it's on the thing.
This is 87.
Oh, yeah. Let's get to 100.
87.
We should definitely be able to get to 100.
Do 100 more.
And then do another live show.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I think we should do an HBCU tour run for real now.
You want to do an HBCU tour?
Yeah, man. I think we should.
Who gonna put us on?
Listen, I know somebody who knows somebody. We can do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Because I don't know anybody.
All you gotta do is start. All you gotta do is start 1 and 2, and then all the rest of them gonna pick up. Y'all really think Charlie Kirk just went up there and do all them HBCUs? I mean, not HBCUs, but all those little colleges.
No, but he had
Charlie Kirk had billionaires behind him.
Yeah, but
that was an AstroTurf. He wasn't no.
Listen, if Charlie Kirk can get on the campus, then we can get on the campus.
I don't want to emulate or follow in his footsteps. You pick somebody else. Best protect your neck.
Exactly.
Wu-Tang.
Don't mind, man. I can't bring y'all to the campus.
Wu-Tang, man. Wu-Tang, man. Watch the step, kid. Let's find a different role model.
All right.
All right, y'all, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Wu-Tang, we gonna fuck that college shit. We no Utah campuses.
Hey, both of y'all got real religious dreams.
And my wife's name is Erica. I can't fuck around.
Oh shit.
Hey, yo, both of y'all
And
got
I can see
real
her on the
religious.
stage at my memorial.
Hey,
WAP, doing the WAP.
please be watching this.
That ain't happening.
Please be watching this. Did you see how both y'all got so religious just now? It was crazy, bro.
What you talking about?
Y'all, that was a spiritual response. You like,
No, what? That's a practical response.
oh,
That was fully material. That was oh my goodness.
get good energy. Get good energy.
We Eric could be out there taking over EYL funds.
Both our wives, Jared, be doing that hip bump Salt and Pepper used to do at our memorial service. Money, money, money.
Oh shit.
My wife would be turned
Shit
up.
real good. I ain't know.
Oh man.
So scratch that college tour shit.
Yeah. We
go to cafes. Where do we go? We go to the office conference room. We do
Whatever
conference rooms.
wherever you could get an oat milk latte.
Right.
You can't get no oat milk latte. Morgan State Pepsi only campus. Ain't no oat milk on that campus.
Oh yeah. The hell with that. So that's my position. You brought up the wrong person to motivate somebody to go on a college tour.
Campus tour suspended. Never. I'm at the go there and finish working on these two.
So I know my wife would have a ball.
Yeah. All right, man. Are you hitting it? You hitting the button?
Do I do it? Do we have an outro?
Nah, we ain't pay Skip for the intro.
We only got one verse.
You gotta do them both.
So listen, people, put the super chats in so we could get an outro verse. He was like one at a time. One at a time.
Right, that's the thing. We ain't got no. So we just gonna leave cold. I don't know how to leave.
No, man, rewind it, man. Play the intro.
All right, I'll do it. Let me do this, man. Let me do this. Let me set. First of all, I'm gonna set the video as the intro and outro.
Pay your laborers. Stop exploiting people's labor, man. Stop that shit.
All right, everybody. Thanks again, everybody.
All right. Peace.
I'm so surprised. Y'all been in church 2 hours and you're expecting to see heaven out here, and there ain't no heaven. You're still right here hear the black man's truth. No, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. You've been down on your knees the last 2 hours, haven't you? Begging some God to help you in the hereafter. But the hereafter is right now, brother. The hereafter is here and now.
We a series of amendments and leather African pendants, handguns and incense. Liberation's expensive. Earned by studying love, books and bloods, the crooks and thugs, the capitalist loves. They the enemies of the people because the words written replace where the innocence was. Searching for knowledge to escape what ignorance does. So we earn liberation by rejecting what was.
You got to earn your liberation.